electromagnetic radiation, right? It is true that it disrupts the bird navigation, right? It reduces the reproduction rates of, in the birds. So should we stop using also mobile phones to, prevent the,
I would
No,
I would say
that's
to
not the
you,
vegan. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah?
no, I would just say you should buy a Nokia 3310.
Okay. No, that's
No, no.
not the vegan position.
I mean, if you
So
can,
the
you
vegan,
can, no, not the point is, you should be against killing of animals in whatever way,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
should be completely.
no,
So
so
it is not. You will say I'm not going to kill a cow, but I will kill a bird because of my activities, right? That's not justified.
no,
You,
it's
in
not
fact,
about. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, can I respond to
Carry on,
what you're saying?
carry on. Right,
Yeah.
carry on.
So a couple things I have an issue with, Sam. Number one, you didn't respond to the thing I said. Number one. Number two, you started talking about cell phones' impact on birds, which is fine. Again, when we're looking at like the impact of our actions, right? There's a very big difference. I'll ask you, would you not say that there's a big difference between something like slavery, where we're breeding individuals solely for the purpose of using their body and controlling everything they do, and our actions having a consequential impact on wildlife or on the environment? Would you say there's a difference there?
I think no, I won't say that because we are
No. Can you?
consciously,
So
right?
hold on.
We
No, hold on.
in both. Okay,
Sam.
okay.
Sam. Hold on. So you're saying that you don't see a moral difference between breeding individuals, keeping them in cages, controlling everything they do, and determining their death sentence versus an environmental impact that displaces individuals or that ends up killing them in some way. You don't see a moral difference between the two.
Right. I mean, it's not necessary. You have to keep the animal farmers to kill.
Yes, a yes or no question, Sam. It's a yes, just yes or no.
I'm
You
giving
see
the
a moral
answer.
difference between the two.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need to cage animals for your food. Okay, I agree with that,
No.
right? But I'm saying that there are
wait,
alternatives.
Sam. Hold on, Sam. So you do see a moral difference between the two, correct?
I'm against, obviously you shouldn't cage an animal. Okay, I get it, right? But there are alternatives,
Sam.
right?
I'm trying to Sam. So you do see a moral difference between breeding animals into existence, controlling their reproduction, controlling everything they do, and ultimately exploiting them, using them for their body, and ultimately killing them, and our actions that affect the environment that therefore affect other animals. If you see a moral difference between those two, how does one justify the other, right? How does environmental impact issues like pesticides, like crop growth, like the human population, how does that somehow justify the enslavement and exploitation of bred animals, of animals that we breed solely into existence to use as our property? How does one justify the other?
Because we are consciously, right? We are consciously also extincting those animals. Like I gave you the example of mobile phones.
Hold on. But
you can
again,
say your argument would be that we are not. I got your point. But I believe that we are indirectly, but we are consciously. Killing those animals as well, right? So I don't see much difference. If there will be not kind of, as you said, that we shouldn't. Make those animal farmers where there is a lot of killing going on against these animals, right? A lot of like sexual abuse and all those things. I'm against those, obviously, but there are all alternatives. To get non-vegan food as well, by not using those methods, right? So there are obviously alternatives to it. So you don't necessarily need those kind of animals.
So what's the alternative for animal? Hold on. What's the alternative to animal agriculture where exploitation and slavery isn't inherent? Can you provide me an alternative?
Yeah, there are a lot of alternatives, right? There is,
what's an alternative to animal agriculture where slavery and exploitation isn't inherent?
I mean, you can, I mean, grow kind of, you have animals at your home, right? A lot of people have animals even at their home. They, I mean, grow these.
Okay.
What to say?
So having animals at your
Yeah,
home.
you can, the
is
rate,
that-
I mean, the rate consumption of meat will decrease obviously by those methods, but obviously.
No, hold
I
on,
mean, you
you're
can't-
not. Hold on, I want to finish answering asking my question. So, having animals at your home that you again keep in captivity, breed solely for the purpose of slaughtering at a young age, at a fraction of their life, and exploiting them for eggs or for milk, that's somehow not slavery just because those animals are at your home?
No, I don't think, I mean, getting milk is kind of slavery. I don't believe that. Right? You can say, I mean,
Hold on.
maybe animal
So
farming
let's put it in the
killing
human.
them.
Hold on, Sam. Let's put it in the human context. So let's say I have a group of women that I keep at my house. I get them pregnant, and then when they give birth, I take their babies away, and then I milk them, right? I keep them at my house, so they're not in a factory, right? They're at my house. I feed them well. I give them shelter, but I take their babies away so that way I can have the milk that they produce. Would you consider that slavery and exploitation in the human context?
You can't, I mean, mix these two. That's different, right?
No,
Sam,
I'm
as you
asking
said,
for Sam.
this is the same thing. I mean, you actually put these animals right above the insects that are being killed by the pesticides and fertilizers.
Oh my God,
you justified it.
Sam, we're focusing on
So you
exploitation
can't,
and
I mean,
slavery
there
for
is-
1 second. Sam, we're focusing on exploitation and slavery. You already conceded that there's a moral difference between exploitation and slavery and pesticide use and affecting the environment. So let's focus on exploitation and slavery for a second.
I
Just
believe
answer the
that-
question.
I believe the point is simple. I
Sam,
think humans are above animals, right, in every sense. So
Sam, it's a yes or no
similarly,
question.
In a
Sam,
same,
it's a yes or-
in a same way.
Sam, it's a yes or no question. Do you think, in the human context, what I described with keeping women at my house?
That's not an analogy. I mean, you can't humans.
Sam,
I mean, you
I'm
can't
getting there.
compare
Sam,
humans and animals.
Sam,
That's
I'm-
not comparable.
Okay.
Guys, if I
Sam,
can try
I'm
to,
not I did.
if I can try to fix this,
Sorry,
The
hold on,
please.
hold on,
point is, even in
Sam,
human
Sam,
context, it's
when did I
completely
compare? Sam, when did I compare humans and animals? I'm not comparing anyone.
you are-
I'm asking you. In the human context. Would that be exploitation and slavery? Yes or no?
Yes, that would be wrong, right? Yes.
Okay. Hold on. No. Would it be exploitation and slavery? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So that in the human context, that would be exploitation slavery. Okay. Then how come when we take a different species of animal, when we take a cow, a pig, a chicken, a different species of animal, how come that is all of a sudden not exploitation and slavery? Can you explain that?
I mean-
why is that all of a sudden not exploitation or
They
slavery?
don't have human rights.
The point
human
is
rights,
that
we
you
grant human
justified.
rights.
I mean, you justified killing, right, of insects, right? You justified killing. You said okay because we need it.
So you're not
like,
gonna
for our effort.
respond to
You can't compare. No, you can't compare human and animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Why not?
You can't compare. That's
Why
not
not?
comparable or
What
not.
is the morally
The-
what is the morally relevant
point is
difference between human and non-human animals?
Yeah.
That in one case it's justified, and in the human case it isn't. What's the morally relevant difference?
I mean, if you would agree that, I mean, if you would agree the use of pesticides and fertilizers is wrong, and because of those we are killing insects, you have to do the, I mean, organic farming, right? Completely organic farming, but you know that organic farming will not fulfill the required need.
Who's
Sorry,
saying-
can I-
who's saying
can
that?
I
We're not
intervene?
talking about
Sorry.
that, Sam. You're
If
going
you
back
would-
to that
if you
point.
agree-
I'm asking you a
if you
different question.
agree,
I'm asking you a completely
if-
different question.
Sorry, can I intervene? Sorry,
no,
guys.
you are not
Sam,
asking the It is same as
Sam, if I can try to bridge between the two things. So, Sam, first of all, we said already that if it's necessary, then you have no choice. And in case of crops or crop deaths, right, animals who die for crops, it's just
how
necessary.
is okay?
Hold
How is
on.
using of mobile phones? I mean, okay.
You've been talking for a really long time. Can I please? I'll address the mobile phones as well. Okay, thank you. So if it's necessary, there is no choice. If it's necessary to have a mobile phone, like for me, for instance, it's necessary. But also, I don't think that like boycotting a mobile phone would improve somebody's rights. Right? I don't think if you say, I'm not going to buy a phone, the people who are right now like mining for phones or for like cobalt or whatever, I don't think their rights are going to be improved. Something else has to happen there. So just saying I'm not going to buy that product is not the answer in that case. What logical consistency?
It's one answer.
Yeah, what logical consistency is trying to show you, Sam, right? That there are many differences between humans and animals, but there are a few things that are kind of the same, mostly the same. And the same things between us humans and animals who are not human is the fact that there is an individual there. And if there is an individual there, then they can be enslaved. So you can't say that an animal can't be a slave, right?
Where do you draw the line though? So it's subjective, right? So let's say I drive my car. I know for sure insects are going to die against the windshield.
Yeah.
So I understand there's a moral difference, and I agree with you guys. But then I ask you, why do you draw the line where you draw it? Because there's even vegans that wouldn't eat oysters, for example.
Yeah.
But there are other so-called vegans that would eat them, right? So where
Well,
do you guys draw the line?
I don't know how you make the so-called reference. I don't understand that, but allow me to kind of repeat myself. If something is necessary, then it becomes something, like it doesn't necessarily become moral. I don't think deaths for crops are moral.
Right.
I don't think it's good, right? If I could prevent them, I probably should. But I can't right now because
There's
it's
others-
necessary.
yeah.
If you live in an area where like
Then other
a car
individuals,
is...
though, they think it's moral.
Sorry?
I understand that, and I kind of agree with you guys, by the way, but there's other individuals, like really hard meat eaters, they'll say, I don't care. It's like, from my point of view, from my subjective morality, I believe I necessitate this to keep my, health and just
Well, listen, here's the thing.
overall life.
Yeah, whether morality is objective or subjective, people who don't care, they just don't care. And we can't do anything about that. We can't make them care, right? If we could put them like in the place of an animal about to have their throat slit, then they would probably understand and care. But yeah, I agree with you. Some people just would never care because they would never be in the place of those victims, right?
Right,
But
right.
those...
So my argument would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah, go on.
okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, just the last thing that I wanted to say. I can't talk to people who say they don't care and they actually mean it, right? So those people are kind of lost to me. If somebody doesn't care when I tell them about atrocities that are happening in the world because of them, there is nothing I can do. So I'm gonna just move on and talk to people who care, who generally think animals deserve some kind of moral consideration, who are able and capable to change. Those are the people I'm going to talk to, right?
What? Yeah, go ahead.
Is somebody muted? Oh,
Their
there it
point
is.
of view. I want to just ask you a single thing. Do you guys feel that the whole vegan thing is a point taken out of from the vegetarian lifestyle and something? Do you think that is it taken out? It is a something that is taken out from the vegetarian lifestyle and their culture.
No, not really, because vegans been existing for a very long time. Like at the time of like the Greek philosophers, they were already talking about how it's not okay to exploit animals. So it's not even
Yes.
similar morally, because vegetarians are, I don't know what motivates them, frankly. Some of them are motivated by animals, and when they find out what happens for dairy and eggs and honey and all that stuff, they generally change. And those who are not motivated by animals don't change. And in that case, it's two different positions.
So here's
Vegetarians
the
are
thing.
usually motivated by diet.
The guy saying like if you care so much about animals and you care so much about other creatures, why do you just stop living? Why don't you kill yourself? Because if you kill yourself, you'd save
Yeah.
millions and billions of bacteria each day rather
Well,
than
hold
saving
on.
one or two
Hold on there.
beings.
Bacteria.
They are
Bacteria.
that
Hold on.
the
No.
conclusion-
Bacteria. Hold on. No. I have to
I-
fix this mistake, Sam. Just hold on. Just 1 second. So
No,
bacteria
just,
are
just
not.
1 second.
Sam, no. I'm
want to
talking now.
conclude. I
Sam,
want to
no,
conclude it
no,
from my side. I want to conclude.
no. I'm muting you, Sam. No. Somebody asked me a question. I'm gonna answer it. God damn it. So Norif, bacteria are maybe a living creature, but they are not sentient. And another point that you said, well, why don't you just kill yourself? Well, because you can't expect a community.
You think tree is sentient?
Sorry.
I'm asking if a tree is able to think for himself.
No. Tree can't think for itself. Bacteria
but
can't
they can
think for
feel pain.
itself. But I know you're a
But
Jainist,
tree
right?
can feel pain,
So,
and they are living
No,
beings.
they can't.
Well, they are
Don't be
living,
an
but they
idiot,
don't have a
Norris.
mind,
They cannot feel
right?
pain. That's stupid. You know it.
They can. It is scientifically
they don't have a
proven.
mind.
They can feel
Scientifically,
Oh
pain.
it's not
God.
proven.
Shut
Scientifically,
up,
they
bro.
don't have a mind, so they can't think.
Bro, it's scientifically proven.
No,
You can
bro,
you can
scientifically
search it on
disproven.
internet.
Wait, Norif, do you understand the difference between stimuli and sentience?
A sentient being is able to think for himself what's good for him and not.
No.
Okay, what is stimuli, real quick? No? Okay. Anyway, post, go ahead.
So
So you asked the question. Well, why don't you just kill yourself? Well, because I'm also an animal, right? And I want to live. My drive to live is really, really strong. If it was a matter of people would be dying without animal products, veganism wouldn't exist. But the fact of the matter is that people are not dying because they don't have animal products, as evidenced by the fact that I exist for the past 10 years, haven't eaten any animal products. Then it becomes completely unnecessary for your life to eat animal products, and then it becomes morally
So-
abhorrent.
So then doesn't it comes all together to a single point that live a life that reduce the suffering of other creature? Doesn't matter whether it's a being who is able to think for himself with it's a big creature like dog and cat, or whether it's a small creature like insect. Doesn't it come to a single point at the end of the day that it's all about reducing the suffering of other while keeping yourself alive?
Well, because I want to be alive. I don't act on reducing suffering. That's a little too generalized for me. I usually go for either reduction or rights violation or elimination of a rights violation, if possible, right? So suffering is ominous because sometimes we suffer for a good reason. And so reducing suffering just makes no sense to me.
Reducing
the
suffering.
problem is-
Suffering is
Gun rights.
like how you exploit
Rights are usually
animals. When you
subjective,
exploit
right?
someone, they are suffering, are they not?
Nitin, I can't understand what you're saying. If you can come closer to the mic. Oh, they're out. So, Foolproof
I'm
Mastery,
asking
would you
if-
like to talk to Norif about suffering and stuff?
So I just wanted to ask you, is suffering not the same thing as, when you exploit someone? Are they suffering or not?
Yeah, they're suffering, but it's not the most important thing to me. The exploitation is exploitation can be without suffering. It's still wrong by the fact that it's exploited.
What do you value?
You can exploit someone without making them suffer?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
consequences?
Like for example,
How?
you can wear a blue hat, and that causes an immense amount of suffering for me.
How is that
I could give an
suffering?
example of exploitation without suffering if you'd like.
Let's go.
Okay, please do so.
Okay. So if you have someone who's severely mentally challenged and a mute,
Yeah.
right? And we're talking about a
Mhm.
human. So someone who literally doesn't know any better, right? Actually, there was a documentary that came out about there was this, I don't know if you guys saw it, it was on Netflix. It was a severely mentally challenged person who their caretaker believed that they had a romantic relationship. They had like a sexual relationship, right? So someone who can't comprehend what's going on and can't consent, if you have sex with them, or if you use them for labor, or if you, I don't know, dress them up in funny clothes and put them at parties to like entertain people, they might not know any better. They might not know what's going on, but you are exploiting that person. You are going against the principle of of being against exploitation or being against enslavement. So just because somebody
Okay.
doesn't know any better doesn't mean it's morally justified to do whatever you want to them. Right? Would you agree?
Okay, so we are talking about that single individual here, but if you look it from humans' point of view, it's all about society and unity. It's and then that person will have a family, right? He can't
Hold
exist
on,
from
can you just
nowhere.
answer my question? Sorry. I asked. Can you answer my question? Do you agree with that? With what I said?
Well, I do not agree with exploiting him or his weakness, his or her weakness. But the thing is, you are
No. Hold
not
on. Hold on.
making
Oh
him
my God, dude.
suffer. But what
Guys,
about his family?
guys, could we have a general rule where if a question is asked, you just answer it directly? Because this is just crazy, guys.
I
Listen.
agree. I
Would you
agree.
I
agree?
said that,
Right?
yes,
Would you
I agree
agree?
with your point.
Hold on. Okay,
I
so you
agree.
agree that
But
it's possible. Hold on. Hold on. So you agree that
yeah,
it's possible to exploit somebody without them knowing any better and without them being aware of the exploitation. You agree with, and you agree that that's wrong, right?
yes, that is.
Okay, so that goes against your entire. So I'm glad I answered your question at the beginning. You said, "How can you exploit someone without suffering?" There you go, nice and easy.
Okay, so the thing I want to ask you is, I want to continue this argument. Like, if you are, exploiting him, you are not making him suffer because he doesn't know, like, he's actually been, he's actually if exploited or not, or if he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know he's suffering or not. But
Uh-huh.
humans are social creatures, and he will have a family. Would they not know any better? Would they not
Hold
feel
on. So
bad, or
are you
would they
saying?
not feel sad about
Hold on.
their
Wait.
family member being
Yeah, I have a
suffered?
clarifying question. Are you asking if it's only wrong to exploit that person who doesn't know any better because it's going to make their family suffer? Is that the question you're asking? Or the
No,
point you're
I'm
making?
asking, like, if you do something like that, what you just gave me
Uh-huh.
example of, it's if those things come to light, and the people who know that
Sure.
mentally challenged person will feel
Let's say nobody
bad,
knows
will
them. Yeah. So hypothetical question. Let's say this person has no family. Then what? Is it still wrong or is it fine by you?
if he have no family and nobody
Yeah.
knows
If
it,
nobody
how
knows
is
him on the entire
how
planet.
how's that exploitation going to come to light, and how is the person who's exploiting
Why
him
does
or
hold on?
her?
Why does it have to
Wait,
come to light for it to be wrong? For example, if somebody goes out on a date, drugs the person they're on a date with, what's it called? Sexually assaults them, and the person has no recollection, nobody ever knows, and the person, let's say they have no family who could find out, it's completely in the dark. Is that wrong or is that okay now because no one's ever going to know and the person doesn't remember, right? Are you are you principally against these actions, or are you only against them so long as people find out, right? So what are your values, right? Would you still say that's wrong even if nobody knows and nobody finds out?
now I agree with you there.
Okay, there we go. So the action, right? So when we're talking about moral values, right? We're talking about principles that we are against, right? Or we are in favor, right? I am against murder. I am against slavery. I am against rape. I am against these things. So whether or not people know about it, whether or not the person it's being done to knows about it, I am against these things because I consider those inherent rights that we shouldn't violate, right? And if you agree with that, then that's why you should be vegan.
Okay, so let me just say another thing. Like the moral rights and the principles change from society to society and culture to culture. Just
100%.
yesterday, I discovered this religion, which is Norse pagan. I knew that Odin and all Thor and all things from Marvels, but I didn't knew it was a religion. So when I come to know that how Norse pagan works, it's like it's totally different. If you are doing something like this, like making sacrifices, it's not morally wrong in Norse pagan religion. From their
Sure.
point of view, it's not entirely wrong. How do you like make principle that is acceptably and on a global scale when there is no
Okay,
single
can I-
religion
Between objective morality.
shared point of view?
Yeah. So you're never gonna come up with a set of values that everyone is always going to accept, right? If you look at the
Well-
course, like if you look throughout history, morality and moral consensus is always evolving, right? It's essentially about getting as many people on board as you can and then putting
Well-
laws and protections into place, right? So like for
So
example,
you don't
for a
believe
long
in
time,
objective morality, logical?
no, I do not believe in objective morality. No. And there's
This is
no evidence
interesting,
that
though,
morality is
because-
objective.
Right. So if you don't believe in objective morality, why are you so emotional about this? Because how can you argue with someone that says, man, you have some good points, but subjectively, I just believe exploiting animals it's pretty good.
Yeah, I could explain. Well, first of all, I don't think I'm emotional just because I'm speaking loud. I'm because there's a habit I've already noticed of people in this chat not answering questions directly. So I have to kind of be a little firm. But to answer your question, so just because your moral values are subjective doesn't mean they can be inconsistent or illogical, right? So I could say morality is subjective. That doesn't mean that there isn't a problem with me loving one dog and then kicking another dog in the face and calling that consistent, right? So that's where logic and reasoning comes in, right? Yes, morality is subjective.
You're consistent.
Yeah. So
Clarify,
for example, if
worded
you
poorly because it's in my second language, I meant that you are more emotionally invested, which is a little bit different. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, I am. Yeah, in that case, I am very emotionally invested.
even though I'm not vegan, I do believe the vegan diet is the most moral diet or position. Sorry. For example, if someone like Perspective Philosophy says that to me, like I respect the guy because he's a Catholic and he believes in objective morality. He's also vegan. But someone like you, I wouldn't understand because again, you can argue all day and be emotionally invested, but then you don't have an objective universal law to then tell the person, man, you should follow this because it's actually true.
But-
Otherwise, for them, it's like, oh, my subjective experience is more important than yours. So, may I ask you, what do you value, right? Is it sentience? Is it a set
Sentience.
of values?
Yeah.
What
So-
do you value?
So when we're
Right.
So when we're looking at moral value, right? The only line that I've seen that makes sense, again, if somebody has a better position or something, the only argument or the only position I've ever seen make sense is drawing the line at sentience, because the only way to like feel the impact of actions or like be impacted by actions at all is through sentience, right? You have to have a subjective experience. You have to have the ability to feel in order to even be in the conversation of moral values, right? So, sentience.
Another question.
But
And-
I got
and
here.
just
there's vegans.
Oh,
that
wait,
will
I
draw
just
that
wanted to-
line. Yes, sorry.
Can I just respond to the ultimate moral law or whatever you said? Because you said if someone like Perspective Philosophy says it, you have respect, but someone who is like a moral subjectivist, you don't, right? So
Yes, exactly.
with logic and reasoning, why, when we can like put together arguments and reason and form like strong positions that are logically consistent and that are morally consistent, why do you need some kind of universal law book or universal book or universal set of rules that tells you something is harmful or something is like wrong to do to another person? Right? So like, for example,
Yeah, because
like,
yes.
Because,
yeah, like
brother,
do you
speaking
need
is really important. Let me tell you why. Just as I said, yesterday I discovered this, new religion, Norse pagan. There, if you see, they offer sacrifices for their god. And why do they offer? Because they think if you impress their god, it's more like bribery. They offer their god like, hey God, I'm offering this child to you.
Okay.
So make me win in this war. I'm offering this bird or this creature to you.
Yeah.
So you give me better,
We know there's crazy
crop there.
people.
I'm giving this sacrifice to you, so you protect me from the wind and shelter me from the rain.
I understand, yeah.
Sacrificing that, and that's morally right for him, because if
No,
you
but that
impress
doesn't.
someone
But like, for
powerful-
example, right. But for example, right, here's where science and reasoning comes in. If I ask them for the evidence of where their God exists, they cannot provide any. Right? If I start putting like going down a line of questioning, ask them, okay, would you want to be sacrificed for a God? Do you think it's morally right for humans to be sacrificed for God? And then you could actually expose logical inconsistencies in their position. So if the question is, right, so if you're asking, well, it's going to be hard to convince people who believe in religion to go vegan, yeah, that's a huge challenge, obviously, because they believe in something completely illogical and of lacking scientific evidence.
Wait.
That's one thing, right?
No,
but
wait,
when
sorry, you're making a generalization. Well, let me interrupt, sorry. For example,
You're not
wrong,
getting my
but
point.
that's-
You just asked. Hello. You
Wait a
just
What's the
asked that
generalization?
why
Understand,
is
we have
universal
feelings,
law
right?
needed?
Come on, man. Let's
And
have a
that's
more
what I
nuanced
said,
debate.
that
Just
universal
Hold on, someone's
law.
one person at a time. One person's got to talk at a time. You guys are
Yeah,
talking
just
both
wait
at
a
a
little
time.
bit, Narf. You talked a lot. Just wait a second. You Indians like to talk a lot. So let me just
Bruh,
correct you
don't
there.
do that.
because
Hey, this is a
perspective
vegan channel,
philosophy
dude.
Is vegan is also a Catholic. So when you say globally, religious people
can't
are
hear
hard
me.
to convince and whatever. Actually, they have some grounding to say, yeah, I'm a vegan because in the Bible, for example, there's this thing, and I believe in objective morality. I think there's evidence for God. Whereas you, again, even though Norif is making this really extreme example, it's also true that from their point of view, from their subjective experience, they are doing something okay. Okay, that it's true, you can make internal critiques, I agree, but then to other people, where, for example, even between vegans, there may be differences. So, for example, there's these guys eating oysters versus other people that not even, just these types of animals. So there's debates if one is vegan or not. So in this case, as a
No.
subjectivist, how would you argue with someone like that?
Sorry, if I can jump
Can I
in,
just
if
quickly-
So
that's
argue
okay.
with
If it's okay, for one
Just
second.
real quick, from the moderation perspective, yo, Henry, don't say racist stuff. I can ban you for 24 hours. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so if I can jump in, there are no morality differences between vegans. Everybody agrees that, generally speaking, sentience is the cutoff for whether somebody can be exploited or not, right? If you have sentience, then you can't be exploited.
I have a question,
And
right?
hold on,
What about the
you
person
hold
that is in
on.
coma?
You asked something, you said something. I'm telling you now. So people who eat oysters, they just don't agree that oysters are sentient. They can be or can be not, but that's not a disagreement on morality. That's a disagreement, like it's technical disagreement, which is
Right,
fine
right.
because we
I
are
want to
different
ask the
people.
question, though.
Like how many Christians disagree with each other? How many offshoots of Christianity there are? You can't tell me that you think therefore Christianity is
I know,
subjective or something, or like not
We agree.
valid.
We agree there's differences. That doesn't mean that I still believe, though, even though there's differences, that there's one objective moral truth and denomination. But by the way, you mentioned sentience, which it's interesting. I kind of agree, but what about people in coma? I just really want to know your perspective.
Yeah, so
Can I
if they are,
explain that?
if
They
they're
won't
in a
recover.
coma, if they're in a coma and it's irreversible, like they're brain dead, there is no mind anymore, then they stop being morally important for themselves, and they become morally important only in the eyes of people who love them, right? So a family can like still have some kind of an emotional and moral, emotional response to thinking, oh, this person is gonna die if we disconnect them, but the person themselves are no longer morally relevant because they're dead. There is no mind there anymore. But speaking of morality is objective on the Christian perspective. Like, you disagree on moral questions too, like a lot. Vegans at least don't disagree on moral questions, and most of us are moral subjectivists. So
What
No,
about
there are
if I continue with
disagreements,
logical
but
consistency point? What if that
And just
brain dead person, hey,
let me
what if
just
that
finish
brain
by
dead
saying our
person
argument
doesn't
is
have a
just
family
based.
and he's orphan?
We decide
Guys,
this
you're
way
talking
because we feel
together.
like it, and for me that's not enough.
so just to respond, because to the original question, how do you like, as a moral subjectivist, how do you deal with that, right? Again, it's just about providing internal critiques, right? It's just about either poking holes in their belief in religion, or poking holes in their arguments, or exposing some kind of contradiction in their views, right? So that's all it is. That's all it's about, right?
Right.
And
But, let
that's
me
how
give
you
an
deal with that,
example.
right? So just because somebody
understand,
is
yeah.
religious, or somebody is a moral objectivist, if their position is inconsistent or flawed, that's just what it is, right? It doesn't matter what kind of
Illogical, but let me give you an example. Let's say there's a vegan that believes not only killing animals is wrong, obviously, but also believes in killing insects, for example, while he's driving, or even the oyster stuff is also wrong. So this guy will look at you and say, logical, I think you're not really a vegan. And so in this situation, right?
Yeah.
Was right, because from your point of view, he has his subjective perspective. He has good reasons. He builds them upon sentience and has other arguments. So in this situation,
there are people
there's
like
one
that.
vegan.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be veganism, right? So that would be something more like ethylism, I think, or like extinctionism, or something where they view like there's no moral way to live, right? So therefore you should kill yourself, or we should stop procreating, or we should wipe all living life on Earth. So there are names for all
We
these
can
things. I don't know them all.
Wait.
Yes.
I
We
didn't
can
get
call
your
it whatever
answer
we want,
clear.
but let's say this person
Norif,
calls
can
you
you
evil. Do you
sorry.
agree with that person?
1 second, please, Henry.
No, I would
Norif,
disagree.
can you chill down for a little bit? There is a conversation between Henry and logical consistency. Just let them talk, all right? Don't just chill for a minute. Let's go.
Yeah. I'll stop too because I spoke a lot. Sorry, guys. But so Narif, go ahead. You wanted to talk.
No. I just wanted to, explain himself a little better so I could understand what he was trying to, say, what point he was trying to convey. Like he just said, the question asked was, what if two vegans, two different vegans are one things like killing insect is wrong, and then he's saying like, hey, you are not, you are killing insect, and I am not, and then you are not a vegan anymore. Because
No,
I think killing insect is wrong.
What are we? Guys, veganism is not some kind of like, okay. Put it in the human rights context, right? Feminists have been disagreeing with each other for decades. Civil rights people, right? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, they disagreed on many things, right? There's always when it comes to like moral issues, there are countless disagreements, right? But it's about like continuing to debate, continuing to argue, and getting closer and closer and closer to the truth, right? It's about truth seeking. That's the whole point of debate. If there were no disagreements among all vegans, there would be no debates. That's the whole point, right?
If vegan is all about sentient being, so are vegan, supposed to eat insect if those insects are useful for them?
No, because,
Because they are
if
not
insects are
vegans for eating
sentient,
insects.
then
No,
no.
we're
I'm
against the
sending you.
exploitation of all
I'm
of them.
sending you guys a chart of foods which cause harms to vegan food which cause harm to insects and animals. I'm checking those.
Not crop depths again.
Whoa.
Logical
Okay,
consistency. You're
again,
welcome
so-
to it. We just
Yeah,
went
so-
through
so
this,
we
by the
can
way,
look at-
Osho.
I-
Didn't we go through this like 2 days ago? Osho, answer
Okay.
me, please. Didn't we go through this? Didn't we go through the insect dying for crop deaths like 2 days ago, me and you? I might be confused. I
No.
might be confusing with someone else.
No, but what I was asking, like,
Norif, I wasn't talking to
again,
you.
Well, so here's what I was. Here's
you
what I was gonna
just
say, right?
said, like, sentient being was all the point around this vegan diet and all that. What about insect? Like insect, if those
No,
insects
hold on,
don't
hold
have
on. Can
mind, they don't feel pain for themselves. They don't know any better, and it's not in your morality concept. And those insects are good for your
I just want to
protein
say
or your
one
first
thing.
of-
The one thing
Is
is
it
that
right to kill them
insects
and-
don't feel pain. Most of them don't feel pain. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, we don't
Go
know
ahead.
that.
Hold on,
It's-
just a couple.
We don't have evidence for that. We have some
Guys,
evidence
just
that
a couple things,
insects
right?
are not sentient, but it's very limited at this point, so we might as well try to, not.
Yeah, I take the precautionary principle with insects. So I don't know. I haven't looked at too much research when it comes to insect sentience. They could be sentient. They could not be. Again, there isn't too much evidence on that from what I've seen. But I've also seen compelling arguments for why they are sentient. So I take the precautionary principle when it comes to exploiting them. But again, I'm sure that somebody, if they did enough research, can make a whole chart, a whole web of every action and what potential consequence it has, whether it's insects dying, birds dying, humans being exploited, whatever, right? I'm sure you can make a whole chart. That has nothing to do with veganism, right? Veganism is
So
very
guys,
simple.
hello.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm getting there. It's the principle that is against the exploitation and enslavement of animals. That's it, right? So, or sorry, I should say sentient beings.
Animals,
Sorry.
yeah.
So when we're
There
we're
are
talking about
no sentient insect, you can eat
What?
them. You can actually
hold
eat
on,
them as a vegan.
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. So when we have these questions of what about insects and pesticides, what are these? All of these are great environmental questions, great questions of things that can be improved upon, or great proposition, or great things that can, or you're presenting things that should be improved upon. Yes, but none of that, nothing anyone has said in this conversation justifies the exploitation and enslavement of sentient individuals, which is what you actively contribute to when you pay for the piece of animal flesh or the glass of animal secretion on your plate or in your cup. It's as simple as that. I don't know how to make it any more simple.
Logical
just define
consistency.
myself.
Hold on, Norif. Hold on. So hold on, Norif. Hold on. Norif, hold on. Hold on. Fuck. Norif, hold on. Logical consistency, you must know something. Norif is actually a Jainist, so he's talking from a more radical place than veganism. I think, Norif, I'm sorry, I think we need to move on to somebody else, because we've been talking about you, and you already don't eat animals, so let's just move on to somebody else. Okay.
Let's move.
Wait,
Now-
you Jainists? I thought Jainists drink dairy, no?
No, why would
Holy
they?
shit, but how do you know that?
Wait, Jainist, you drink
Jainists
dairy
drink
as a
dairy?
Jainist?
Yeah, Jainists drink dairy.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's still a belief in Jainism that there's nothing
No,
wrong with
they still live, but they are minority. Fairly, limited number of gens still exist,
but no, I think Jains
and
still.
we are gens that exist from generations, not the one converted. So we still exist, but that's beside point. How do you know I'm Gen?
You told me
Oh.
2
I think
days
that's
ago.
you, VPM. I don't know.
You told me 2 days ago, Norif. We talked 2 days ago. on this Discord.
I want to say something. Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Felix, actually I can eat quinoa because there is no exploitation happening because of quinoa. In India, I can also eat coconut and mangoes.
Yeah, I know that.
Sugarcane rice, yeah.
Yeah, I just had to message you about that.
I'm a true vegan, guys, okay?
That's fine. Does anyone have any questions towards vegans? Because vegans have questions for you.
Yeah.
No, I'll just move on to listening to others.
Thanks, Norif.
Scriptures that you were looking for?
Sorry?
What?
Osho.
Yeah, I
And
found it. The scriptures you were saying, those scriptures came after the death of Adi Shankaracharya. And most main scriptures of Hinduism are before Adi Shankaracharya, like Bhagavad Gita.
So can you give me a specific date?
I have to check it. Something like
Most of these scriptures are written before the Adi Shankaracharya.
Okay,
Because Puranas were just around 4th century AD.
I can give you that actually. Okay. And so, I'm sending VC chat. What's your name? Mohit.
What are we doing? Guys, anybody got a question about veganism? Okay, then I have a question. Nick, why aren't you vegan yet? Nick, ask a potato, I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
What
Why
you
aren't you
asking?
vegan yet?
Because I don't want to be yet.
Okay.
I like the idea of it. I support it, but like because of some I'm going to gym and stuff, I need some protein which I can't get from vegan diet because of
well, you
less
are
availability of
incredibly.
vegan products in my city and stuff. So yeah, that's the
Nick,
main reason. Otherwise, I support it.
Hold on. You are incredibly lucky because we have Foolproof Mastery here, and he's a nutrition guy, so they can answer you. Actually.
I'm saying the thing is this: our research on it, the most of food isn't available in my city. I'm saying that.
Okay, which city is that?
Well, I live in India, so it's already very I can eat vegetarian but not vegan. And vegetarian diet have very low proteins, so that's the thing.
Foolproof Mastery, all yours.
Like the calories which I'm eating, the things which I need, after my calculation, I can't eat in vegans.
Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So, where do you live?
India.
In India, okay. Do you know how there's many vegans who live in India, all right?
Yeah, I'm a vegan too, and in India, finding vegan food is very expensive, very cheap, yeah.
As long as you've got beans, like Nick, do you know that all whole plant foods contain all the amino acids?
I know.
So all whole plant foods contain all the amino acids. Just have a balanced diet.
You can just eat quinoa for all the amino
The thing is
acids.
this, you need to eat more calories to have the same
Just
protein.
eat quinoa. Just eat quinoa to get all 9 essential amino acids.
Hold on,
Well, I'm talking about protein and stuff. I know the other things as well, but the thing is this: I eat mixed diets. I'm not a full veg, non-veg. I'm just in the middle of in between. I eat both things, so yeah.
If you only ate quinoa, it won't be the best choice.
I don't eat meat at all, but I just eat eggs. Yeah, that's the thing.
Have a range of plant foods and you'll be fine. Don't just do a mono diet with only one plant food. Just have a range, have some beans. I've been all around the world. You always find canned beans everywhere. I know in India you've got lots of lentils.
I tried it, but the thing is, the vegan food is too boring for me. I ate it a few days, and after that, I just don't want to eat it anymore. I tried it, but I can't do it,
So initially you said it's a protein issue. So is it a protein issue or is it a too boring issue?
Both. These are both things. According to me, for me, it's both.
Okay, so like if there was no more animal products, would you like go hunting for dogs or something like this?
I told you I just eat eggs, no meat.
Okay, you only eat eggs, all right. So like if like we can just run a logical consistency test on you.
Okay.
Is that right? So so you're okay with chickens getting exploited for their eggs, right? Enslaved. Is that right?
I'm not okay with it, but I have to go with it. I'm not okay
Okay.
with it. Yeah.
So you think it's wrong, but you still purchase these products.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. I know I'm wrong, but I'm still doing it.
All right, so and like
Well, debate's over then. You're a hypocrite. That's it. I don't know.
I told you, I support it. I already told you that. The thing is this, I can't do it. Currently, I will, eventually, one day, but not currently.
Wait,
so
can I
what-
ask, like,
what's stopping
practic-
you from like imagine if we were in the past and you were like supporting another
First of
industry.
all, I'm not an employed guy. When I will be get a job, then I can do all this stuff. I'm just a student. I'm already on very tight budget, you know. It's
What's
already very
stopping
hard to just right.
what's stopping you from learning how to cook?
I know how to cook. That's another thing.
So you know how to cook, but you don't know how to like cook something tasty which is plant-based.
No, yeah, you can say that. Like, which is also like rich in protein, rich in other stuff as well. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Nick, can
Like,
we not
all
go
the
back
stuff
to
you
talking
can
about
do,
protein,
see,
though?
I can learn it, but
fucking-
too lazy to do it.
I'm muted. Sorry, Nick, can we
So,
not
yeah,
go
I-
back to talking about protein, since you already conceded and Foolproof Mastery told you that you can get plant protein, you don't need animal protein, right? So let's delete this
Can
point
you
from your
just,
vocabulary.
provide me, because I don't know, as much as I do research, I didn't find any good protein source from except soybeans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't find any good protein
Do you know seitan?
guidance. Oh,
Seitan, it has much more protein than your meat or eggs.
is it here?
Yeah.
Seitan is wheat protein.
Type it in. I am
Hold on. I'm just a little bit confused. I'm finding some holes in your story here, Nick. I just have a couple things. So you live in India,
Yeah.
one of the most
Yeah.
vegetarian countries ever,
Yeah,
filled
I
with
know,
chickpeas
I know.
and lentils and hold on. So you live in India. The only animal product you eat is eggs, and somehow eggs are also ensuring you get enough protein, but also you can cook, but you can't cook things without egg. Like, you're just not really making any I think you're kind of lying to yourself and to us a little bit here, because it sounds like what you're saying is you're saying
I'm
that
not getting
it is
protein. I know that. I'm just trying to add as many things I could under the calories which I'm consuming to cut. And the thing is this, it's very hard to do so. I'm doing research on it. How do I increase my protein intake? I'm just doing it. That's what
It's
I'm
very
asking
hard
you
to
guys.
what?
If you have any good- I'm just saying that if you guys have any recommendation, you can type it in chat. I will try to eat it. If
I mean, have
if
you
it's
never heard of
available in our
chana?
city.
Hold on, have you never heard of chana masala?
I know.
Chana masala in India, it's just a chickpea dish that's simmered with like tomatoes, and it's delicious.
You mean
it's
chana,
literally
which
all
means-
chickpeas.
Hello.
Sorry, what is that, Nick?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that exists. Yeah.
Okay, why don't you just eat that instead of eggs?
Because I can survive just by eating that.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can
what
eat
about
other
dal?
stuff.
Have you heard of dal, like
isn't
lentils,
as,
like
don't
simmered
have that
lentils?
much protein if you search it.
You can
Chana
eat
masala,
other stuff as
dude,
well.
It's like, hold on, guys. What are we?
How
Hold
many
on. Nick,
protein
how much?
and the
Nick,
calories it contains in
Nick,
100 grams or 200 grams?
Eggs
Nick,
contain
how
like
mu-
very
Nick,
little
how many-
protein. Eggs contain only 6
Hold on,
grams
hold on.
of protein per egg. That's nothing. If you get a
Hold on,
block of
VPN.
tofu, that's like 30 grams.
You have to eat 80 to 100.
Hold on, VPN,
80
hold
to
on.
100 in a whole day.
Nick.
6 is
Nick.
nothing.
How much? Nick, how much protein are you trying to get? How many grams of protein do you need in a day? Can you tell me that?
80 to 100, 80 to 100.
Okay, 80 to 100. Okay, so in half a cup of chickpeas, there's 6 grams of protein. Okay, that's just in half a cup of cooked chickpeas. Half a cup is almost nothing, right? It's a very, because chickpeas are big,
How
so
many
it's a very
grams
small
are
amount of
there?
chickpeas.
Because cups vary from
So hold on.
country to country.
Hold on. So, and that's just in chickpeas. That's not counting rice. That's not counting lentils. That's not counting breads. That's not counting seitan or other meat alternatives.
Tofu.
So my question is, I as a vegan get with meat, with actual like meat alternatives, I get 140 grams of protein a day, right? Substitute the meat alternatives for like lentils or beans, you're easily getting over 100, right? Or close to that. So
How many
what
calories?
is stopping
How many
you?
calories, right?
What 100? Plenty of calories. Calories are easy. Yeah,
how many
calories
calories
are
you
easy.
are taking in? Because
me?
I eat very low calories. That's the thing. How many calories you are taking in? Tell me that.
Well, I have to. So I'm exercising a lot, so I eat a lot of my calories. I could eat as low as 2,000
how
calories.
many?
I could eat as high as 4,000 calories.
Yeah,
So
one is level 1,100. I need to damage.
Okay,
That's a big
I
difference.
eat.
Wait.
Nick, I
Wait,
eat six. Hold
How
on.
many calories are you eating?
1,200 to 1,300. I'm saying that is sorry, I was mistakenly I said 1,100.
What?
But like, how
You're
much did I
eating
calculate?
1,200 calories?
Dude, you have an eating
12 to
disorder.
30,000. Yeah, according to my weight, according to my height. Yeah, I'm
Hold
cutting.
on, wait, guys.
Like,
Hold on. Nick, I'm just asking because again, the information you're giving us, it's very confusing, right? Because you're saying
Why?
multiple
Why?
things that contradict with each other. Because in one sentence you're saying it's protein, then in another sentence you're saying it's not protein. You're just getting bored of foods. Then in another sentence you're saying it's India, and then you're saying
both.
it's
I
hard
told
to
you. What did I say? You didn't listen. You didn't listen to me at all. What I say? I said when she asked that. Why I saying 2 sentences? I told her I agree with both. Like I'm suffering from both things. No single, but both. Yeah.
Okay. So how many calories are you eating in a day?
My goal is to just drop it down to 12 to 13K. Yeah.
12? Are you saying 1,200 calories?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Why
not
is your
12,
calorie
12,
count?
Yeah. You can say that.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
what you're
I'm having a little trouble understanding you. Are you trying to eat 1,200 calories or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is your calorie count so low?
Because I want to drop some weight. That's it.
You want to drop some weight. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay. So there are ways that you can get. Well, first of all, 1,200 is very low. I don't know how rapidly you're trying to lose weight, but 1,200 is very low. I'm sure Patrick can explain
I
that.
will
that's
increase
crazy.
it if
But-
I
That's
drop
very
too
low.
rapidly. I'm just experimenting with it. Yeah.
Okay,
I will do it
but
for 1
the
week,
point
and
is-
if it.
Yeah. So 1,200 calories, you can still get enough protein. Do you not have like protein powders available in your area, like protein shakes?
It's very expensive. Right. Told you.
Sorry, I just ran tofu
what?
and sorry, one
Protein
second.
powder is very expensive, brother.
Norif, yeah,
It's
hold on.
very expensive.
Oh,
but
it's expensive?
1,200
Hold on, please.
Seriously,
I just, I understand.
Even I am a skinny
Shut the.
side guy. I mean, I'm not healthy or bulky, but I still consume more than 1,200 calories.
Norif, hold on. Norif,
I
Nick,
know,
hold
what I'm
on.
trying to
Nick,
understand is how much.
My whole
I'm fucking-
whole life. I'm
Guys,
just
hold
talking
on,
about, like,
hold
I
on.
will try it for 1 week, and if I drop like 3 kgs, I will increase it.
Wait.
That's what I'm
Hold on. So you're gonna eat 1,200 calories for 1 week.
Yeah, just to see how much did I drop.
Hold on.
If
Can
I
I
drop
say
more than
something?
1
Hold on.
yeah,
Can I
will
say
increase
something?
it, yeah.
Bro, you are basically fasting, you know that.
Can I say something? Hold
Nick,
on.
I
I
don't
just
know what you're.
I did it once already.
sorry.
Nick,
Can I
think
say
you're messing
something?
with us, dude. You're just saying a bunch of weird stuff. I
Brandon.
don't understand what.
Yeah.
Can I say something for
makes
1
sense.
second?
Let's
Nick,
listen.
Brendan,
Either or it is
quiet.
fasting.
Guys, let's listen to Poise for a second.
Can I say something? I just ran eggs and tofu through Chronometer, and tofu has more protein per calorie than eggs. So I don't understand what's going on. If you're losing weight, you don't need tasty food. You just take tofu if you don't like tofu for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
You eat less calories and get more protein if you eat tofu than eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have no excuses. We just dismantled all of your excuses. You should go vegan. Because you agree on the moral stances. You should go vegan. You should apply it.
1 egg has 6
I have a
grams of
choice.
protein.
Yeah, I know. I ran it through Chronometer. I ran eggs and tofu, and I equalized them calorically. And tofu has 18 grams, and eggs have. Somebody is really hot micing. And eggs have only 12 grams for the same calories.
Yeah, there's no excuse in terms of diets. It's just these people often prefer their taste buds over the animal welfare. And these are the things we agree, right? By the way, you vegans, do you know about perspective philosophy?
Yeah.
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 Is that the Irish
I
guy?
like the guy. I think he represents.
No, he's from
I
Newcastle.
think so, yeah.
No, he's from Newcastle.
Somewhere up north in the UK.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I know. He kind of looks like, but he kind of looks like Cillian Murphy, right? Kind of, a little bit.
Um,
I don't know who's that guy,
the
bro.
side
Sorry.
channel.
The guy from the show. What's the show?
Yeah. I know.
Peaky, whatever, Blinders, whatever.
Guys, this is a cute conversation. Can we please go back to Nick? Nick, why are you not vegan yet?
Leave me alone. Oh, bro. All right, so come back to me.
Nick, why are you not vegan yet?
Okay.
Is it day one? Maybe today you start your vegan journey. Huh? Since you agree on morality, you now have options that you can eat that are higher in protein than the stuff that you eat from animal protein, from animal products. You should go vegan. Do you agree?
I told you I agree with the idea of it.
Yeah. Then do it. What's stopping you now? We talked about protein. We talked about palatability. If you're losing weight, you don't need to eat palatable food. You need to eat boring food. It's part of journey of losing weight. Then you should go vegan. You should take your morals and apply them. Yeah?
Yeah. I got it.
Henry, why are you not vegan?
Hey, so I was vegetarian some years. I wouldn't say vegan, even though back then I thought of myself as vegan. To understand that is like a lifestyle, since I'm no longer doing that, I would just say I was vegetarian. Recently, because just practicality, you know, I wouldn't say this is a good excuse. I just think I'm a little bit sinful with that. I should try better. But,
Why did you go
at least my
vegetarian?
conscience says to be vegan.
Why did you go vegetarian? For 7 years. Wow.
Oh, it's animal welfare, you know, like the arguments are pretty simple.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I think it's like the golden rule. You try to put on someone else's shoe, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. So you understand
I
if
have
like
fun, like hearing these guys saying, "Oh, trees have feelings," or what? They are just stupid.
Yeah. Do you understand that vegans don't argue for animal welfare? They argue for animal liberation from human exploitation. Do you understand that?
Okay, there's several definitions. I heard the definition of veganism.
None of them is
like,
about welfare,
to-
though. None of them is about welfare. All of them are about stopping exploitation of animals and killing, I would argue.
Yeah, when we say
So we agree with Joey Cart's strong definition that we we know, like, you guys try to minimize as much as you can.
No, that's not a
you
definition
know,
of veganism. Definition of veganism is to end exploitation of animals. Some add as long as practical and possible because we live in a non-vegan world. This must be added. But generally speaking, nobody's talking in the vegan circles about reducing suffering or reducing exploitation. Everybody talking about ending exploitation of animals.
well, under that definition, I would say you're a little bit of extremist because,
Why?
you know, just killing insects and whatever, they are also animals. And so some vegans
Yeah.
wouldn't actually be vegans, according to your view.
Well, there is.
So when we-
Hold on. I understand. So you're saying something like almonds and avocados, for instance, like bees are exploited for it. So I have two answers for you. First of all, there is something called inherency. So almonds and avocados don't inherently need to have bees exploited for them. What happens is just because farmers are not vegan, so they don't care. So they do the thing that is easiest for them, and that is to hire some bees to pollinate the fields or whatever, right? But that's something that can change in the vegan world, so it's not inherent. A second thing that I have to tell you is that, like, if you're talking about crop deaths, that of course is not exploitation, so that's excluded from your argument. But that's where also possible and practicable comes in. Like, we need to eat some food. Crop food would be, or plant food would be the, I don't know, zero exploitation potentially, and minimizing killing, right? So from both stances, like both the vegan exploitation stance and the non-vegan, I would say, welfare stance of reducing crop deaths, I would say veganism is the answer, right? But also, this is not your problem. You said your problem is that you are being sinful. You just don't, what?
Yeah, according to my conscience, I
Yeah.
think I am sinful in that regard. Even
Yeah.
though I try to eat, most of the time, is it pescatarian because I don't cook meat myself. But I would disagree on a little point you made, saying that there's no exploitation.
There
especially
is
in
no.
farming.
I said
I-
there is
I do
exploitation. I
agree.
understand. There is exploitation in almonds
yes.
and avocados. I just don't think. I personally don't eat almonds and avocados whenever I can. But I think it's not a
Right.
vegan thing because almonds and avocados can be grown without
really?
exploiting animals. It's just something that's happening now. So, for instance, if like the vegan movement is like a boycott movement, right? So we are boycotting exploitation and killing of animals. If we boycotted almonds and avocados, then almonds and avocados wouldn't exist in the vegan world where we could grow them without exploiting animals. This is the inherency principle. If something is inherent, if exploitation is inherent in a product, then it should be boycotted. If exploitation is not inherent in a product, then we can just fix how we grow that product, right? We just can exclude
But
the
that's safe.
exploitation from
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just a note, by the way, I do think the arguments that oftentimes meat eaters do against vegans, that, oh, when you do farming, you kill mouths, whatever, it's stupid, it's low IQ argument. I know that. I'm just pushing a little bit back in the sense that
Sure.
I think you are maybe a little bit extremist, because I do consider there's no way in your utopia, like finding a way to farm things without killing even one insect.
Well,
There's always some
absolutely
sort of
incorrect.
exploitation, because virtually or practically speaking, there's always an association. You know that, for example, let me give you a concrete example, driving. There's always this thing of,
Yeah.
just hitting bugs. You can just look at the windshield. There's no world, no utopia, just, maybe in the fantasy, I guess, but
No,
in the
no,
real
no.
world, there
I
is no
understand
chance.
that's
There's
now-
always some sort of exploitation.
Yeah, Henry, I understand that now it looks a little bit like fantastical, right? But if we put our
No,
mind to it,
never.
hold on. If we put our mind to it, we can do like amazing stuff, right? For instance, in the modern world, only like
disagree.
hold on. In the modern world, only like 1% of women who give birth die. It used to be like 50, 60, 70%. So we almost eliminated the problem, and the science is doing doing more and more and more every single day to save the lives of women who give birth. So saying that it would be
but
like
you're arguing it's possible to eliminate, and that's a crazy position.
Wait,
because
can
it's
I-
like, no.
Yeah, Brandon, go.
Wait, Henry, hitting like bugs hitting the windshield is not exploitation.
True.
So again, I think we have to like kind of confirm the
Okay.
definitions here because like for example, breeding bees, keeping them in our possession and taking away their honey, that's exploitation, right? We're benefiting off of their work, and then we're ultimately probably going to kill them, right, when they're no longer
Yeah.
profitable, right? Same thing with dairy cows, same thing with chickens, pigs, whatever, right? But if I walk outside and I step on an ant, that's not exploitation. It's an unfortunate accident, right? Or I would have wanted to avoid it if I could, but that's not the same as exploiting and enslaving those individuals.
Okay, yeah. I can agree. Maybe I have to use another term. I guess it's simply evil from my perspective to just kill animals, be it insects also. So the difference between just stepping outside your house and just, stomping an ant versus driving the car is that you don't necessarily need to drive a car, right? So you can either use the bike or walk on foot. Obviously nowadays, from a
But
practical
if you use a
standpoint,
bike,
you'll argue,
an insect's
it's
going to hit your. Hold on, but if you use a bike, an insect's going to hit your helmet. Like the point is, there's no way to eliminate the negative impact of humans on the planet. It's impossible, right? To your point, it's not possible, right? Yes, like to vegan postmortem's point, we can get better and better and better. But with 8 billion people and the population growing, we're gonna have to take resources away from other individuals on the planet. But that problem existing doesn't also justify or doesn't somehow justify the exploitation, enslavement of animals or of individuals on top of that problem existing.
I actually agree with you. Yes, agreed. It's the thing. I think we're on the same page on this issue. I just think that postmodern. I think she lives in this kind of, or thinks it's possible to reach a utopia where like no exploitation.
It is possible.
No, I think there was just a misunderstanding. Yeah, I think because again, the word exploitation has a definition. I think vegan postmortem was talking about like the exploitation of insects to grow crops, right? Like in the honey, like in the avocado industry or the almond industry, where bees are flown in or used to pollinate those crops. That's one thing that we can eliminate, right? Probably pretty easily as well if we had a vegan world.
Okay.
But what you're talking
Let's
about
say,
is all insect death, right? Driving your car, walking around, growing crops, right? Building homes, whatever. And that's not possible. But also, that's not what vegans are principally against, right? If I bring it back to the termite situation, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if I bring it back to the termite situation, right? If humans are trying to build homes to have shelter and termites keep eating those homes, we have to get rid of the termites, right? They're not letting us live, right? They were literally trying to build homes to survive, and they're eating all the eating all the wood, right? So at a certain point, it's competition for survival. But like for example, if we have to eliminate termites for us to build homes, that doesn't justify us breeding termites into existence to then like kill them for food or like use them for whatever other purpose. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I would want to ask a question then. So, in the sense that I'm not exploiting then there's like, it doesn't matter how many I killed. Let me give you an example. So farming, right? Let's say that currently, due to lack of technology, maybe in the future can improve, although virtually it will never stop ceasing. But let's say you kill hundreds of mouths, right, in the farming process. I know it's not exploitation, we agree, and I think it's a low IQ argument, but just to understand you guys, how far you go, like, is it fine for me? Because I can say, man, I'm just trying to build or grow some crops, and maybe at the end of the year, I would eat more, I would kill more animals indirectly, right? But would it be bad for you, or is it okay?
So I can address that, right? So I'll put it in the human context, right? So if let's say we are principally against the enslavement and murder of humans, right? The premeditated killing of humans, the enslavement of humans, right? So let's say that problem gets eliminated, right? So we get rid of the enslavement and exploitation of humans, right? Or murder of humans. So now, right, let's say there's an industry, right? Let's look at the I don't know, let's call it the t-shirt industry, okay? And there's two ways of doing business in the t-shirt industry. You can do business in the t-shirt industry where 100,000 humans are dead at the end of the year, or you could do business in the t-shirt industry where only 50 humans are dead at the end of the year, right? There is a moral difference, right? If you can practically implement the second way of doing business, which leads to the least amount of humans dying, that obviously is preferred, right? I think everyone would agree less humans dying equals better, right? But both of those industries, whether it's the 100,000 people or the 50,000 or the 50 people getting killed at the end of that t-shirt industry year, none of that justifies the direct enslavement and murder of humans, right? So to answer your question, in the animal industry, or sorry, in the animal context, obviously, assuming we're all on board that it's wrong to enslave and exploit animals, yes, we should look for better practices. So I'm not someone that's going to say, oh, no amount of indirect or unintentional animal death matters, right? Obviously, the least amount, the better, in my opinion, right? Obviously, I don't want to have more animals be negatively impacted if I can help it, but that is a separate problem, right? And I think putting it in the human context makes the most sense. That's like saying, well, you know, there are people in factories who die every year because of the poor conditions or because of the chemicals or whatever. So therefore, I'm going to go out and murder a couple people today, right? It doesn't really make any sense when you look at it that way.
I think we're on the same page, but if I gave you this definition, which by the way, when I was vegetarian, I used to watch Joey Carbstrong, and so I think he said something along these lines. Maybe I'm just quoting, and I apologize for that, but he said something like, veganism would be the way of living which seeks to exclude or as much as possible the exploitation of animals and the killing, right?
Yeah.
Would you disagree with this sort of definition?
Kinda.
The killing, I mean, it all depends on what context, right? Primarily, so the definition I go off is very simple: being against the enslavement and exploitation of sentient beings. Can't get any more straightforward than that, and there's no like weird slippery slopes about suffering or about killing or anything. Because again, there are instances where killing is morally justified, like in self-defense or potentially self-preservation, depending on the context. So, yeah, I think again, when we're going off of the big rights principles, also I do like when we think about human rights and think about the rights that we want for humans in terms of moral rights, right? Obviously, right to vote, all that is kind of out the window, but we're talking about moral rights like the right to not be murdered, the right to not be enslaved, the right to have your freedom, all these things, right to not be exploited. I don't see any reason why we can't extend that to other animals and why we shouldn't. So there's no morally relevant difference between our species of animals and other animals that would justify the difference.
Yeah, it's basically speciesism. But the issue again for me it boils down to subjectivism versus objectivism. Because let me ask you again your definition of veganism, by the way.
There is no one definition, Henry. I'm going to stop you right there. There are several definitions, but all of them are talking about exploitation and some killing of animals, right? So it's morally...
That's like me asking you, Henry, that's like me asking you, what's your one definition of Christianity? Or what's your one definition of, whatever, right? There are so many different branches and so many...
But I can be Roman Catholic.
No. I know you can give me one, but someone else, right? Your peer who's also religious might give you a different answer. That's the point, right? So people are going to have their slight tweaks and disagreements.
Bro, but you're actually making my point in the sense, I understand there's differences, and that can be a surface level problem. But then my question is, do you believe, even though there's differences, there's one actual truth, right?
No.
So maybe there's a vegan that thinks that veganism means, just you can eat a little bit of fish. We know obviously that's incorrect because internally we can criticize it. But then when there's subtle differences, say for example, from a vegan like Postmodern, which I think she's more militant, towards a guy like you, can't we say it was correct here? Like, are you so subjective you don't believe yourself? Like, maybe...
What?
I don't know, man. Like, in the sense, don't you believe there's one actual true definition? And like, if you don't
So-
follow these principles, you're no longer vegan?
So all these, okay. So again, all of these concepts are man-made, right? The concept of morality is man-made. All these arguments they're all like tools that we've invented to communicate ideas, right? Communicate, moral values, communicate whatever, right? So
Yeah, like laws.
I believe based on the reasoning I've done, based on the debates I've had, that the definition that I use makes the most sense and makes the most sense to me. If somebody can kind of show me otherwise or prove me wrong, I'm open to that and I will change my definition, right? So I don't believe, because veganism, again, all these concepts are made by us, right? So to say that there's some kind of objective truth when we created these things in the first place doesn't really make much sense, and I don't see any evidence for that, right? How can there be an objective truth of what veganism is when we created it? It's ever expanding, right? It's always like evolving, right? So that's like saying there's one definition, one true version of human rights, when we know that human rights have changed decade after decade.
Well said.
But it's also useful to take the average, right, of the community and say, oh, this is the average opinion. I would still
Well,
say
that's a different
there's,
question.
like,
Hold on, that's a different question. Yeah. So now, do I think that there is a like majority agreed upon consensus of what veganism is? Yeah, and that definition is not participating principally being against the exploitation and enslavement of animals. Whether they word it that way or not, that's what it is. Consensus, like the majority consensus. And then in practice, it's, not participating in or not paying for animal flesh, animal secretions, animal entertainment, anything that involves the exploitation of animals.
Yeah, and I would.
So yeah, I don't think there's very few people who disagree with that.
By the way, I didn't know, I support veganism, but why you guys are forcing people to be vegan?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Why are you forcing animals in the gas chamber?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, if people really like that, they will change themselves. But forcing them, it doesn't make too much sense.
If someone
I'm just saying
is
that.
raping someone, will you not force him to not rape someone?
Bro, you can't just manipulate things by just adding human in it. Human, we are just taking a scenario, which you make sure that you learn in it. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that it is good to convey the messages to the people, forcing them and you can make them feel guilty, but you are just forcing them to be vegan. It's their choice. You
They're
can't
not
just give it
forcing
to them,
anyone. You cannot force anyone to do anything.
That's what I'm saying.
No, they're not doing that. They're trying to argue for their position, which is not forcing anyone to do anything. I have been here for more than an hour, so I think if you will have my views, they're not my views, but I will try to advocate for Murdoch's position.
Why? Why would you advocate for
because
Murdoch's
there's something to it.
Okay.
There's something to it.
Okay, let's go.
It's not. Yeah. So I think what he was really trying to say is that, philosophical. How do I say this? Philosophical consistency. Philosophical consistency, to me at least, it seems to be like a privilege, or it's more common in the privileged societies, right? So if you have higher education, if you
Yes. No, I haven't. I don't even know this person.
Ah. Just got
But
that bad.
Are you gonna answer that question or no?
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
feel like we
if
need
you
to
want me
move on from
engage in the
Murdoch.
same.
I just drink a
that I've
glass
been
of
presenting to
water.
you, it could take us a very long time
Yeah. Well,
to get to the answer that you're looking for. Are you looking for the answer in one or not?
I'm sorry, are you Yoda or something? Dude, like I'm asking you a very straightforward question. I'm asking you a very straightforward question, right?
I think we're
Question
just
is,
going
what are
off
you here
topic and
for?
it's getting argumentative. Can we just stop this? This is so boring. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'm snoozing and yawning and I'm about to fall asleep.
Wait,
I'm feeling this conversation is quite interesting.
I don't care what
If
you
somebody
think.
else wants to talk, go ahead. I'm just
Sorry.
again, Murdoch seems
Same,
came
even
in
I don't
talking a
care
lot.
what you feel.
I have a question. Yo, lady, are you
Okay.
vegan?
I'm not vegan, but I believe that veganism is a very virtuous practice.
Okay, and
So,
why-
like,
why
fists
vegan?
up to y'all. Why I'm
why
not
are you-
vegan.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm not vegan because, number one, I have issues with my weight, and red meat has helped me maintain it, and it allows me to have, like, really nice bioavailable iron and cholesterol and protein, which, you know, I've had other sources of protein and iron as well, but I just feel like red meat has really been the best for me in my personal experience. And as a person who has struggled with weight, you know, like animal-based foods have helped me maintain it better.
All right. I'll
And
stop
also, I have a couple more reasons. Wait, I also think about, you know,
before
the
wait. You
social
said
stigma.
you said a lot of points. So first nutrition, then social. I will let Poist answer those things. So first is the nutrition.
Okay.
Go
So, what do you think it is about? You said red meat. It's bioavailable iron. Is that what you said about red meat?
Yeah. Like, you know.
Yeah. What do you think is more?
There are some plant-based foods that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There are some plant-based foods that have higher iron and protein per gram than, let's say, red meat. But in terms of digestibility, red meat is, you know, pretty good. It's more bioavailable, so we can actually absorb more of the, you know, iron and the protein and the whatnot in red meat, just because, you know, it's in meat, so, you know, it's easier to digest than because also plants have like a little bit of cellulose in them. There's science stuff.
Yeah, science stuff. I'm good at science stuff. So, speaking of bioavailability of iron in meat, it's the word bioavailability is incorrect in this case, or it's inaccurate, because what happens is that iron from red meat bypasses our ability to block it when there is too much of it. That's not bioavailability, that's like an attack on our bodies. That's first point. The second point is that there are vegan sources that are way more bioavailable than red meat sources, specifically iron supplement. Iron supplement, just by the fact that it's a powder isolate, is more bioavailable than anything in red meat, and that includes protein isolates that are more bioavailable than red meat. For instance, even like not really good, not very well absorbable plant protein isolates, something like rice protein, is gonna be more bioavailable than meat just by the fact that it's isolated. Does that science make sense, Lady Liberty?
It makes a lot of sense, but then there's a big question about a lot of people don't like to support hashtag Big Pharma, and people think that, you know, just basing your entire diet off of supplements, which of course, even on supplement labels, you know, this pill or this supplement doesn't replace a healthy diet, whatever, whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it a better idea to ingest your nutrients from food instead of supplements?
Yeah,
and
sure.
also, what do you think about supporting Big Pharma? Because I feel like a lot of us can agree on supporting Big Pharma overall is like not in our best interest.
Yeah, so those are two different groups. The Big Pharma and Big Supplement are two different entities, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, supplements generally, that's a different place. Oh, you made another point. That's why we should go one point by another. So what was your second point? Oh, getting nutrients from food. Well, yeah. When I eat vegan food, I get most of my nutrients from food. But then when I wasn't vegan and was eating a lot of red meat, I was anemic. I am now no longer anemic. Why? Because I take a supplement. So supplement, by the virtue of being a supplement, is supplementing food. Most of your nutrition in the vegan diet is gonna come from food. Real food, somewhat synthesized food if you want to. And there's nothing wrong with synthesized food. I think our food culture should move on to more synthesized food, frankly. Because it's more bioavailable, it's generally healthier.
Can I chime in with a moral thing really quick?
Yeah,
Lady
go
Liberty.
ahead.
So I'm gonna ask you two scenarios, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So one scenario, a person goes out and hunts human babies. Okay, so they go out and they hunt human babies because it helps them with their weight. It helps them get good sources of iron and vitamin B12, right? So they find that works for them, right? So they go out and hunt babies. The other person takes one pill a day to get any nutrients they might miss, and then get the rest of their food from plants. Which one is the better or more moral option? The one who hunts babies, or the one who takes a pill a day and gets most of their nutrients from plants?
Of course, the second scenario, but an issue with what you're saying is that for a lot of people, a human baby, unless it's like a calf, they're not like they don't hold the same emotional weight, and I can understand it.
That's fine. That's just hold on. I'm getting there. Hold on. So the second one, right? And when we're talking about there's a lot of fear mongering on the internet primarily of supplements and this and that, right? What's most important is looking at health outcomes, right? So this is under the assumption that the multivitamin you're taking and the foods you're eating all have great health outcomes. And if you look at the peer-reviewed research, they do, right? So supplements are very effective in treating or preventing nutrient deficiencies, and plant-based diets as a whole, for the most part, have great health outcomes, right? So all of that is true. So when we put it in the human context, it's very obvious, right? I think you'd agree which one is better, right? Mm-hmm. So then in the animal context, where we are breeding animals into existence and we're essentially eating babies, right? Because the animals we eat 99.9% of the time are going to be they're going to be slaughtered at 1/10 of their lifespan, sometimes even less. So they're essentially babies or young adults. So how come in the animal context it seems like there's a difference in attitude, right? So how is it justified to breed and exploit non-human babies because it helps you with your weight and it gives you iron, when you can just take a pill and eat plants instead? How is that justified over the other one?
How is that
okay
justified when you eat plants?
Hold on. I asked a question.
Okay. So this is not me talking here. I'm going to try to represent
who's talking?
Omnivorists, like omnivores. Okay. So
Ben 10.
Makes
I love that show.
I'm gonna
Can I not be cut off, please?
Arian, if you interrupt, I'm gonna mute you.
Okay.
Try me. So, I feel like all of you know that historically humans for millions of years have been omnivores, right? During the hunting days, you go and hunt the animal and you
only
eat
18
because
years
of
old.
availability.
Can somebody mute Arian? Can somebody mute Arian? Sorry.
And then comes the issue of availability. Of course, back then we didn't have supplements. We didn't have all of that plethora of options when it comes to your nutritional intake. So you had to hunt. You had to eat whatever the fuck you had. Nowadays we don't have to do that, at least for most of us. So to me that's like a kind of short stick. Like, what are we really grabbing at? It makes sense as an argument, but for like
Can I respond?
the 1500s, not nowadays, right? Because we have supplementation, the hunter-gatherer days are over, so it doesn't really make sense, right? So I'm thinking aloud here, so excuse me for a second. So the argument of, well, it's like human nature, we used to hunt, so why not kill them now? We used to kill them before. Well, also, hunting is different from domestication and farming, because farming involves breeding animals forcefully and then killing them. But in the wild, when you're hunting, you're killing, you know, the animals that spawned that were, you know, birthed at their own will.
Perfect.
So it's different.
Okay.
So hunting
But what is that?
is sort of kind of like, you know, a couple thousand years ago, hunting fine. But nowadays, no hunting because it's domestication and farming. And farming is kind of weird. Like, we need milk, so therefore we're going to forcefully impregnate a cow and we're going to milk it. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, it's really messed up. Yeah, but yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of in agreement, no?
I'm definitely in agreement. It's just that
Okay.
I feel like veganism is, especially depending on the country, is kind of difficult, and it also requires a lot of how should I say it? Consistency and effort. I feel like veganism is also kind of like fasting in a way, because you're abstaining from a class of food. So it's very virtuous, and I definitely respect it. But I also understand people not committing to it fully. I personally try to take, you know, bits and pieces of the veganism mindset. I try not to be wasteful with the animal products that I use because, you know, we killed it. At least we should make the most out of it, and that's a part of the culture that I was raised in. I used to be Muslim, and you know, in halal butchering standards, you have to make use of the entire animal and kill it quickly so that it suffers less. So, you know, I have kind of picked up it's bits and pieces of the veganism mindset, but I don't practice it fully.
So can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
Do you have any companion animals like dogs or cats?
We currently own a dog, but it's not really a
okay.
companion for me because my parents take care of it. I'm not really emotionally attached to that animal.
That's fine. But so would you eat a dog? I'm just curious.
Would I eat a dog? Definitely no. I can understand if somebody answered yes in like a survival situation. I personally wouldn't, but I would respect if somebody chose to do so to survive.
No.
Yeah.
So So let's say, right? Because you said it's hard to do so, right? And I'm assuming it's because like the animal products and flesh is everywhere, right? So like, for example, right? Me as a vegan, I don't even view these things as food anymore, right? So like when you actually make the connection and you view something, you don't view something or someone as food. It's not that you're abstaining, right? Because when you think about fasting, you're actively having to hold yourself back from eating. That's not what it feels like to be vegan. What it feels like to be
doesn't
vegan
apply
is,
to all vegans.
Wait. No, hold on. Just hold on a second. So in the same way that if you walked into a restaurant and all they served was dog meat and rice and beans, the same attitude you may have of, oh my God, how are all these people eating dog? I'll just eat the rice and beans. That same attitude where you're not having to hold yourself back from eating that dog, you just, because of the logical connections you've made and because of the arguments you've heard, you just go, oh, that's not food. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to eat the other thing, right? It's the same kind of attitude, right? So it's not like you're not like holding in a fart, you know, trying not to eat the animal flesh anymore, right? It's you just simply don't view animal flesh and secretions as food anymore. Does that kind of make sense? Like if you walk into a restaurant, that's what
vegan out of practice.
So, that's not veganism.
No.
So
Wait, no. That's not correct. Veganism historically used to mean just abstinence from animal products in your nutrition.
Diet.
And then the moral standpoint, the moral definition,
No.
the moral definition came to be later.
No, the
right?
moral
So
definition
Yeah,
can.
veganism, the word can is just semantics.
No,
right?
the moral definition
Veganism
came
was
in
also
at
when I-
1945. That's
abstinence of-
incorrect. The moral definition came in
wait, hold on.
1945 when the vegan word was invented. It was intended to be a moral stance immediately. Before that,
Yeah.
people were
Well,
talking
hold
about
on, so-
abstaining from animal products for like philosophical reasons and moral reasons, but the word vegan didn't exist. The word vegan never meant abstaining only for food. It always meant abstaining from exploitation of animals. Always.
And regardless, right? When what's it called? People use plant-based diet and vegan diet sometimes synonymously, but there's always that term diet associated, right? So when somebody says I'm on a vegan diet, yes, you could probably assume that they also mean plant-based diet, right? But when someone's saying veganism, right, that's referring to the philosophy, right? So when we're talking about veganism as a moral philosophy, that's what we're talking about, right? When I say vegan, but yeah, the main reason, yes, could you eat a vegan diet a vegan compatible diet or a plant-based diet for not moral reasons? Yeah, of course. People do it for health all the time. People do it for environmental reasons. Yes, that is possible. But what I'm talking about, what connection I'm trying to kind of display to you or make you connect with is the moral philosophy of veganism, right? Which in the same attitude you'd have walking to a restaurant and seeing human babies on the menu or dogs on the menu, there's no morally relevant difference between all species of animals so long as we're all sentient and can feel and can have a subjective experience.
Okay.
So
just a side note, thank you for the correction.
That's an interesting point that you bring up. Are you saying okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but I heard you say that talk about experience. So are you saying that people who are of the vegan diet have better experience of life than the people who are from the non-vegan one?
No, I'm saying a subjective experience as in being sentient. I'm talking about moral value of an individual. I'm not talking about the life experience of a vegan versus non-vegan.
I think there are, just a real quick side note, I think there is definitely evidence to show that vegans have better life quality, but I'll have to dig for evidence.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares? But yeah, maybe. But I just want to go back to Lady Liberty because I think
I had
we were on
heard
a
earlier on in the discussion as well. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, Murdoch, we can get to the quality of life thing. That's fine. But
The chain of thoughts
Lady
that
Liberty,
you and Lady are discussing. Okay, I'll not interrupt you guys.
No problem. Thank you. So when we go back to the whole thing, right? Because your original point was you're not vegan because you find red meat is better to help you with your weight, to help you get some certain nutrients, right? This and that, right? But then when I put it in the human context, you would say, oh, okay, obviously, taking a multivitamin and eating plants is going to be the morally better option. So then why is it, if we go back to the original thing, why is it in the animal context, is it not the more moral option? And if you say that it is, right, if you agree with us that actually even in the animal context, it is still more moral to take a pill and just eat plants, then why wouldn't you do that?
Because humans don't do a lot of things that would be hypothetically better for them just out of convenience. People do whatever is convenient to them. And that's like, you can go and choose to eat a vegan burger knowing damn well that eating something else vegan would be better for you on that day, but you still eat the burger. It's out of convenience. People
I'm not talking about what's better for you. Yeah, no. So I'm not talking that's where I think there might be a disconnect. So I'm not saying why don't you go to the gym instead of going home and watch a movie, right? I'm not asking why aren't you doing better things for yourself. I'm asking why aren't you choosing the more moral option, which will actually save you victims from your actions, right? Because whenever you pay, right, for the exploitation of animals, you're demanding more victims, right? There's like a victim on the other end of that, right? So knowing that, right, why wouldn't you stop that and change and just take a multivitamin and eat plants.
Again, I think it just comes down to convenience. People just do whatever is convenient to them.
But
I'm
would
not
you
saying that
accept
it's
that? So,
right to do that. I accept it because you know, I accept it because
no.
I have to
You didn't let me
respect
start.
what
You didn't
other
let me
people
finish.
do.
No. What I was saying is, that wasn't my full question. What I was going to ask is, would you accept that in any other immoral action? So, like, if somebody said, "Yeah, it's more convenient for me to be racist because then it's easier to hire people at my job," or "It's more convenient for me to be sexist because then I don't have to ask for consent," right? So, would you accept any like the argument of, "Well, it's convenient and easy, so therefore I do it"? Would you accept that in any other immoral action, with any other immoral action?
Well, unfortunately, your question is kind of absolute because omnivorism has not been outlawed yet.
No, but separate from the law.
I'm open to having the
but
conversation when it's outlawed, but you know.
But like,
I can understand why people
like,
do something convenient when it's not restricted by the law. It makes sense.
But do you think that, so like, for example, slavery was legal for a very long time, right? So in the context of when slavery was legal, right? Because I think we can agree that obviously legality doesn't always equal morality, right? Because slavery was legal at some point, right? Actually, also marital rape was legal at some point. A lot of these things were legal.
Yes.
So when we look at, like, if we look at slavery, for example, if those plantation owners said, well, it's more convenient and better for my business to enslave workers instead of paying workers, would you accept that? Would you find that as a good moral justification for their action?
I wouldn't accept it emotionally, but I would accept it in practice because I have to if it's not outlawed. It makes
can't even
No,
play
what
my own accent. Wait,
what I'm asking is morally. Like, would you go,
morally?
okay,
I wouldn't
that's
accept
moral.
it.
Okay, so then why are you accepting it for yourself?
He just says
Again, I would
different
just
sets
say
of morals, you know.
no. Morally, I actually agree with vegans. Like, that's the perspective that I've been trying to argue this entire time. But number one, convenience. Number two, I feel like maybe omnivorism, should be around as an option because, some people definitely need to have meat.
Hold on. So separate from the diet. So essentially, morally, and if I don't want to mischaracterize you, correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially, morally, you are conceding that you are doing something hypocritical, right? You are agreeing that what you're doing is wrong. Okay, so then the debate's over. Okay, because essentially, if you are admitting that you're a hypocrite, then you have an inconsistency in your values, which I would encourage you to not. Like, I'd encourage you to like correct that, because what you're essentially saying is, yeah, I'm okay being against something but doing it anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's as simple as that. I'm sorry to hear that. I really
there's
hope
a
one day
difference
you
between
do align
that
your
and
actions with your values.
hypocrisy, because hypocrisy would be me going, veganism is better. Why aren't y'all vegan? But then continuing to eat meat myself.
But that's
Maybe it's
essentially
not
what you're saying is
hypocritical.
But what? Sorry, go ahead.
I can summarize this entire thing as this. I would love to see a future where veganism is the standard, but omnivorism should be kept around as an option because some people will have economic or dietary restrictions that force them to have meat or other animal products.
Well, so economy is kind of irrelevant because in a vegan world, so the only reason why meat is factored into the economy is because meat is sold. Free? I'm sorry, what?
So in a vegan world, meat wouldn't be sold?
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. So all the food would be vegan. So that the economy
realistic
would,
because
so are we still the
No, hold on. My only point is, Lady Liberty, what you're essentially saying is I'll put it in another context, right? I want to see a world where racism doesn't exist, but I'm still going to be racist for now, right? It's essentially what you're saying is what you're essentially saying is I would love to see a world where I would love to see a vegan world, but I'm going to actively contribute against that idea, right? Because every time you contribute to paying for animal exploitation, you're putting the demand, right? If there isn't enough people saying we don't want this, they're never going to outlaw it. To your point, right? You're saying, well, as long as it's legal, then I kind of have to accept it. But how things become illegal is by people not contributing to it and actually speaking out and saying, hey, this needs to stop. So by you actively contributing to it, you're going against your own wishes, which I would say is a contradiction and is hypocritical. So, I mean, from here, the ball's in your court. It's up to you. Again, nobody can force you to go vegan. Obviously, you, I'm sure, buy your own food and make your own decisions. But knowing that, that's why I went vegan. I went vegan because I couldn't accept that I was like a hypocrite. Because you hear, I heard my whole life.
So in a case like of a human baby who also can't consent, so we don't do things to them that is not in their best interest and they can't consent to, right?
Well,
that's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is,
do we have
thing
a
is,
law
you are from a
to do
place that stop, and uses them in the way that you do. So I understand that you might be capable of seeing those ideas wherein you can say those things, but the farms from where I come from, the animals are not
over him because I don't care.
Felix, just mute him, please. I beg you.
So, if the woman was knocked out cold, and if a doctor told me, if you don't milk that woman's titty, her titty is gonna explode.
No.
I would milk
Hold on,
that
guys.
titty.
This is a bad example. Hold on, guys. Lady, I'll put it very simply, right? You said the reason why it's good to milk cows is because they've been genetically modified so much to where it actively hurts them to not be milked. In the human context, would you be okay with breeding mentally challenged humans that are genetically modified to overproduce milk just so we can milk them so it alleviates their pain? Does that sound moral or normal to you?
I'm not saying that the breeding part is okay. That's not what I said.
Yeah.
I said we have bred them, unfortunately. It wasn't me. I didn't breed the cow.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is
what are we supposed to do?
No, we can go back. I'm explaining. So the species of cow you're referring to is a domesticated animal. They only exist. They only continue to exist. And maybe you don't know this. So I don't want to. No. Hold on, lady. Hold on. I was gonna say maybe you don't know this. So I don't want to be too harsh on you. All the dairy cows you're referring to, the ones that are genetically modified to overproduce milk, are not wild. They're all artificially bred. Right? 99% of dairy on the shelves is factory farmed. Very, very small amount, if anything, is none of it's wild, but some of it is like backyard farm or whatever. But so there's no wild cow milk, right? So all of the animals that you're referring to are genetically modified and bred into existence by humans.
I know.
Now, even
we cannot kill those animals. What are we gonna do with them? Just like
no. Listen, I'm getting there. The reason why, because cows have a lifespan, and dairy cows, in case you didn't know that, they get slaughtered for milk. They get slaughtered for meat anyway. So at the end of their life, they get slaughtered. Not at the end, sorry. Whenever they stop producing as much milk, they get slaughtered for meat anyway. So the reason why more and more dairy cows get produced is because people keep paying for the milk. If everyone stopped buying milk, they would stop producing dairy cows, and then the last dairy cows to have been killed would be the last ones. They wouldn't keep it getting produced, right? So I'll put it to you this way, right? It's like with the genetic modification. It's like wheelchairs exist, right? Wheelchairs exist, but people with no legs don't exist, right? So therefore, the wheelchair industry modifies people, right? They genetically modify a group of humans to be born without legs just to fulfill the need of the wheelchair, right? That's essentially what's happening, right? There's a demand. It's super cunty. It's very fucked up. It's very messed up. So that's what it is, right? So in the human context.
Okay, so if we didn't inseminate the dairy cows, and wouldn't the dairy cows keep making children, and there would be more dairy cow?
No, because all dairy cows are females. So we control every level of their reproduction. So
Okay,
all
but
the dairy
wouldn't it be
cows,
unethical to keep the dairy cows from reproducing? Because who are we to tell them not to reproduce? If we
No, no, no.
release these
You're
cows
not.
into the wild, and then the male
We
cow
wouldn't release
fucks
them in the
the
wild.
dairy cow, wouldn't they?
No, no,
wouldn't they
you're not.
reproduce?
You're not. Okay, you're not. What's the? There. So there is no releasing domesticated animals. That's like saying, okay, all like in the dog breeding industry. That's what saying. Oh, let's just release all the pugs into the wild, right? There is no wild for these animals. We wouldn't release these animals into the wild. There's two outcomes for these animals. It's either the end of the industry, which means they stop being bred, and then the remaining ones either get killed and be sold, right, just like people want to do, or they would be put into sanctuaries, right? They would be taken care of by sanctuaries. Those are the only two outcomes. But dairy cows are not male and female mixed together. They're only females, and females can reproduce on their own, obviously. The only reason why dairy cows reproduce.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, so you said that dairy cows have a lifespan, and like when they stop producing big milk, they get slaughtered for meat. So let's say veganism takes effect tomorrow, and we cannot kill them anymore. What do we do with those cows?
Can I answer this? Can I answer this?
If you're saying,
can I answer this, Brandon?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So here's my proposition, very practical proposition. Whichever dairy cows exist, we just continue feeding them until they die, which might take about a decade, right? But we stop impregnating them and we sex separate them because they are sex separated right now anyways, so they don't get impregnated anymore, right? So they stop producing milk at some point.
Cows have reproductive rights.
It's a population control.
Yeah.
This might come off as a bit of a dumb question, but why don't dairy cows have reproductive rights?
Well, they shouldn't exist in the first place. They are mutations at this point.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So and just to elaborate, you're asking why don't they have reproductive rights? Are you saying currently or in the scenario where the world goes vegan?
In the scenario where we let them go, if we separate them by sex, why shouldn't they get to reproduce? Because in the same analogy, like if a woman with big titty is not supposed to exist, can we keep that woman with big titty from breeding? This might be dumb. This is me being dumb.
No, it's not dumb. It's not dumb. I'm just trying to find a way to. Yeah, I'm just trying to answer. I'm trying to find a way to answer this, right? It's like, okay, imagine there's a world where we specifically breed people to be blind and deaf. Okay? So we specifically breed people. I'm sorry, what?
Your squatting position is wrong. No, I'm just joking. I don't know how squatting works.
Okay.
I've never worked out a day in my life.
So imagine a world where we're breeding a bunch of Helen Kellers.
Who the fuck is Helen
So imagine a world where...
Oh yeah, the blind
and deaf. Yeah. Well, she was blind and deaf. So imagine a world where we're breeding a bunch of Helen Kellers for whatever, for an industry, for entertainment, for whatever reason we're doing it, right? So we're breeding a bunch of Helen Kellers and they're all sex separated as it is, right? And
this
then
is so funny.
there's activism and there's people saying, hey guys, this is really wrong. We should stop breeding. We should stop demanding these Helen Kellers get bred into existence, and let's stop breeding them, right?
And then somebody says, what about the current Helen Kellers?
Yeah. And somebody says, well, what's going to happen to the Helen Kellers when they get released in the wild? You can't release a Helen Keller into the wild. They will die immediately. Like, there is no wild for Helen Kellers because they're blind and deaf. They're so genetically modified. They're so horrifically mutated.
Why shouldn't we let nature do its thing?
That's an assumption.
Because an animal is going to be killed. Billions of animals.
The idea is
animals
they're
are getting killed all the time in the wild.
So like for example, right? Lady, I'll put it this way. At the end of the industry, if everyone vegan, even if we slaughtered, even if they killed, right? They just killed all the rest of the cows, right? One last killing spree. We breed and slaughter billions of cows every single year, multiple billions on repeat, right? So every year,
like
pretty much well, that's fine. Pretty much every year, right? The entire human population worth of cows is murdered is bred into existence and slaughtered, bred into existence,
Okay,
slaughtered,
here's a
bred into
question.
existence, slaughtered,
While
right?
we wait,
wait,
while
hold
we
on,
wait
hold on.
for the big
Hold
titty
on,
cow to die, can we milk them?
Hold on.
One last time.
Guys, hold on, lady. So what I'm saying is, right? So when you look at the scale, right, in let's say like in 10 years, right, that's 100 billion cows have been bred into existence, slaughtered. So even if everyone is vegan overnight and we had to kill the remaining 8 billion cows,
that would be
that would be the end of it. That would be a drop in the bucket compared to the perpetual breeding and exploitation if the world didn't go vegan. Now, obviously, we would not want that. We would want to put them in sanctuaries or find a better solution. But my point is, if your question is, well, what would we do to the cows? It doesn't really matter at that point because the exploitation and the breeding would stop forever, hopefully, right? Assuming there's
But
no
also, we
dictator.
would probably want to keep around a couple of dairy cows just in case, because edge case scenarios, we can't really cover everything.
Probably
Well, no,
shouldn't
just
because that
normal
would be
cow. I don't think
exploitation,
They
right?
put in sanctuaries, but like I like what like.
Sorry, can I ask? Sorry, Brendan. Can I ask if the hypothetical homeless lady was like saved and put in a home and she's being taken care of? Can we milk her one last time? No, because that would be exploitation, right?
Right. That's a great point. That's a great point. If we got to a
because you will go to the jail. You will go to the jail.
Right. So if we got to a point where
human doesn't equal cow, unfortunately.
Well,
no, but like so like
they're very similar where it matters, right? Like you can say humans and animals. Wait, Henry, you can say humans and animals are incredibly different, but they are the same in some specific ways. They are sentient, they experience life, right? So that's why what makes it not okay to exploit, not because they are either human or animal. It's not okay to exploit them because they are sentient, they're individual, they have in their own experience.
Well, no, but also in this scenario, right? If we, sorry, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah,
sorry, you were
so
waiting
I'm
to talk. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to clarify one thing, seemingly you guys give a good example, but it's a strawman because in this situation, the hypothetical you gave was the fact the cow, if she wasn't milked, she would have health problems. So indeed, if there was a human, handicapped lady, whatever, and she needed to be milked to continue to be healthy as much as we can, I think it's moral to do that, even though it's weird, of course, but you should do it.
Well, so here's the problem, right? Cows only produce milk after they give birth, right? They don't produce milk forever, right? So again, if we stop the breeding, there won't be any need
No,
for
no,
milk.
Brendan,
Obviously, I mean, yeah.
he's saying something else. No, Henry's saying something
This sounds
else.
so wrong.
Sorry, if I can.
No, I know what Henry's saying.
No,
yeah,
but
Henry's
then
saying
address that.
If it's in their best interest to milk. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to address that specifically. I think, okay, I can concede that if an animal arrived in a sanctuary and for some reason, by the way, wrong reason, they need to be milked, they should be milked because it's in their best interest. But if you're doing it to exploit, then it becomes immoral. And moreover, if animals are not milked anymore, they stop producing milk. That's what happens to human animals too, right? We're not different in that way as well.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yes. The only reason why we have we got to milk all these cows is because they've already given birth and we impregnated them. Otherwise, it wouldn't really be an issue.
I also disagree with one. So we agree on that, but I disagree with taking away the reproductive rights of these cows because I don't see why you need to segregate. You can just let the cow.
They're already segregated, Henry.
They're already segregated.
No, they're already segregated.
No, I know, but once you release them into, let's say, a sanctuary, why are you forcibly keeping them separate? That's something.
No, it's not forcibly. Hold on. So it's not so forcibly keeping them separate would be if the cow and the bull were already together and we separated them. But just that they're already segregated, we're just not introducing a male to the female. That's different,
but
right?
Why not?
So that's we're doing.
Sorry, can I?
Because
what if Miss Cow wants to flirt with Big Bull?
Yeah. Well, if I can,
please,
guys, if I can,
animals are horny
the
too.
population.
Yeah, if I can, please.
Because we are smarter and we will have to control the Smart, because we need to control the stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid
if I can,
animals.
please. Yeah, that's a
It's
good point,
eugenics.
Umaru. But the better point is we have dogs that we bred that are incredibly unhealthy. Should we continue letting them breed? Like dogs that literally like fucking die because they can't breathe, right? Should we continue just let them fuck?
But there's levels to it.
Well,
I agree
who's to
there's
say
some
that we get to be big moral police on that
We
and choose for the
created
dogs?
them. They are
They're
our
domesticated
created
animals.
creation.
They're domesticated, and domesticated animals means that we control every aspect of their lives, essentially. They're domesticated. We're not talking about
Yeah, but
wild
these
deer,
arguments-
right? We're not talking about
Yeah,
like
these
vegans
arguments-
aren't proposing, hey, let's go into the wilderness and separate all the female deer from male deer, which are wild. We're talking about domesticated animals and doing what's in their best interest. Do you know what's not in their best interest? Having them mate repeatedly over and over, overproducing, and then having to cull them because there's too many of them, right? Whereas
And we
right now
agree
they're
on
already
that, we agree.
segregated. Yeah, if there's a small population left in sanctuaries, why would we introduce a male, right? So, and by the way, almost all males are killed in the meat industry anyway. So I don't know about any like
Right.
bulls that are kept alive.
Because it would
other
be
than
better for
bull.
them. Actually, yeah, it would be better for them. It would actually contribute to their flourishing. I know you want to portray this. Oh, sorry.
I
go
want
ahead.
to point out that we already castrate cats, and it's also highly recommended, especially in England, because of the amount of birds that die because of cats.
And dogs. Yeah, dogs are castrated because, again, like if you have a dog and they go mate with another dog and now there's 10 more dogs, something has to be done with those puppies, right? They either sell them or they grow them or they end up on the street.
Or we can eat
Right,
them.
like-
or we
Yeah.
can eat them.
Or you can eat them, Henry, you monster.
Or we can hashtag stop domesticating dogs.
It
Fuck
wasn't me,
dogs.
bro.
Who
It
the
was
fuck
Ra-
likes dogs?
That's
Dogs
the
are
point.
retarded.
Wait, lady, but you just said hashtag stop domesticating dogs, right? Hashtag stop domesticating cows, right? That's the only reason why this
I
problem
agree.
exists.
I agree. Period. Cows are weird, and also just cow's milk sucks anyway. All milk sucks. Plant milk is also shit, by the way.
Yes,
This is not against y'all vegans. I don't like plant milk.
What? You don't like oat milk?
Me neither.
Oat milk? Have you tried? lady?
No.
Try oat milk.
No.
Oat milk
Oat
is
milk?
You have to
amazing.
introduce more carbs in your diet for no reason.
Lady, look at
Carbs are
this.
not a problem.
Hold on, cow's milk has a ton of carbs.
Yeah. Cow's milk and oat
yeah,
milk
that's
have
true
the same
too.
carbs.
I didn't say that I like cow's milk. Wait a minute.
But
Y'all are
what's
inserting
your
words in my
problem
mouth.
with
I like
carbs?
any kind of milk.
What's your problem with carbs?
Oh, I mean that's fair enough.
And also, it kind of reminds me of semen, and I don't like that.
What's your problem with carbs?
Because when I drink milk, I'm like, calcium. I don't want carb. If I wanted carb, I would eat bread. I don't like
So
milk.
you got a milk intolerance, yeah?
No, I'm actually very tolerant to milk. I'm Turkish, and you know where the lactose tolerance gene originated? Anatolia. It's true. I'm
I
the
got one.
original lactose tolerant.
I'm intolerant, so
Aryan
I
guy.
hate milk.
I'm what?
And nothing.
Yeah, it's the
Never mind.
lactose intolerance. I think that's what he meant. By the way, guys,
Lactose
returning to
Did
the
you guys see that
question,
study
vegans are
about like
better.
lactose intolerance being like done fucked if you just keep drinking small amounts of milk? You can become tolerant to lactose.
Nah, bro, I tried that.
No.
You didn't try it correctly.
No, either you have
yeah,
amylase
that thing,
or lactase or you don't. It's an enzyme. If you don't have that enzyme, you need to introduce the enzyme. You need to take a pill.
What's that?
And we don't want to support
I
Big
heard-
Pharma, right?
Why do I need it?
Fuck big
Drink a
pharma.
pill.
I love how I
Yeah.
said fuck big pharma, but I'm also taking supplements for my hair because my hair is falling out.
Supplements are not pharma.
Is it minoxidil?
I do use minoxidil and I also use
Genetics.
finasteride.
Genetics. I think your relative had the same problem as you.
Yes,
It's
but I can
genetics.
take big drug to stop it because I like my
Why is
hair.
he walking out?
But it makes sense, bro.
Oh my
because
god.
it's something
You know what
bad,
would be
so
so
you
cool?
want
We need to
be tolerant.
domesticate animals with big hair so that we can cut it and like make wigs for the people with cancer. Let's do it.
I like sheep.
There's horses for that. You can take horse hair.
Horse hair for wigs? Have you ever
Yeah.
worn a wig?
But you said we need to breed animals to have hair. But
It
we
would
have
actually
already
be
there.
a very good idea because unfortunately the economically unfortunate women in India are having to donate flocks and flocks of hair, beautiful hair, to big wig industries. So the fucking Trixie Mattel and Katya Zamolodchikova, the fucking drag queens, so that they can buy a fucking wig, a human hair wig. So dumb. Let's domesticate people with big hair so that we can cut it and make wigs. It's a great idea.
That's an amazing idea.
Okay,
Let's stop exploiting
So,
everybody. How about that? Let's stop exploiting animals and stop exploiting humans. Now,
Yeah.
That would be great.
we're gonna stop.
Yeah, wear grass
I wanted
hair.
to return
Grass
to the
hair.
question.
We can
Take
And
a
also,
grass
we
hair.
guys.
didn't talk about milk and meat tasting good. When y'all make the big meat and the big cheese without the milk and the fucking animal booby, I'm becoming vegan. No, just kidding. But
What
a
do
lot
you
of
mean?
people
No,
do
just
argue
kidding.
that I'm not
Hold
vegan
on.
because it
If
tastes
there's lab
good,
meat, you're
and I
not gonna
cannot
eat
blame
lab
them.
meat instead of actual sentient animal slaughter flesh.
No, I'm not saying that for me taste is an argument. That's what other people say. Right?
Ah,
People
okay.
say I'm not vegan because pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, but can you answer my question though? If lab meat is going to become really accessible, are you going to continue eating slaughter meat or are you going to buy lab meat?
If lab meat becomes currently lab meat is out of the question. Like ain't nobody eating lab meat. Lab meat is so
No,
fucking
I
expensive.
know people who
If
eat
it
lab
becomes
meat.
cheap,
I know people who eat lab meat at this point.
it's not fully lab meat. It's usually normal meat or some other vegan substitute mixed in with a little bit of lab meat. Lab
No,
meat
no,
is
no.
not currently
I
being
know
mass
people who
produced.
eat
Like,
chicken
ain't
breasts.
nobody eating lab meat.
No. There are people who eat chicken breasts these days that are lab grown.
But that's from a privileged country. In most countries, this is not even a thing today.
Yeah, sure.
believe
But I'm
maybe in the
asking
future it
Lady
can change.
Liberty here because, by the way, eating meat is a fucking huge privilege. And the fact that you are here talking about privileges is fucking gross. So, Lady,
I know.
I'm asking though,
I know.
would you switch to lab meat or not?
Definitely yes. Definitely
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Jesus Christ. Can we get you to veganism though until there is lab meat? You can do low carb on vegan. You can do
So
it.
I'm 18 and I currently live with my parents. If
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go vegan, my parents would be like, "You're out of the house," so I cannot. But once I gain economic independence from my parents, I would love to start out with vegetarianism.
Why?
Because
Why
you know,
start out with?
I'm a person of low self-control because I'm
Oh,
retarded.
Mhm.
And I would be like,
But
I
the goal
would love
would be
to suck the
vegan,
milk
right?
out of your fucking breast, and I would go and eat some cheese or some mayo or some shit like that. I love cheese and I love mayo, so I would go do dumb shit like that.
There's vegan cheese,
So,
vegan mayo.
It just does it taste as good?
Vegan cheese sometimes, yes, but it's more difficult to find. But definitely there are some cheeses like a cathedral, like something that I never tried, but people say it's amazing, like Cathedral City, something like that. That cheese is like exactly the same. And what else did you say? Vegan mayo, vegan Hellman's vegan mayo tastes exactly like regular mayo.
Oh my
You can
God,
do it
I've never
now,
seen
by
it
the
on
way.
the shelves here in Bulgaria. If I can find it,
Yeah.
we're trying it out.
Cool, awesome. And you can make
it's more
some vegan
expensive,
cheeses
though.
like at home that taste pretty decent. Like I would say it's like 80% as tasty as cheese. And I would say like fucking exploiting and slaughtering an animal for 20% better taste is fucking morally abhorrent. So I would say take the 80%, take the L on the flavor just to be morally better, right? What do you say?
I definitely agree. I
Cool.
want to say this. I feel like for you vegans, you know how every single group has like a bad bunch that is very loud and they give the other people a bad name? I feel like for vegans that has happened a lot. The same for the gays and all the other people. Because you know that bitch, what's her name? The vegan teacher? That bitch has given y'all a bad name, and I'm so sorry for y'all. The vegan teacher needs to go down. If y'all can
What are you
take her
talking
down,
about? The vegan
y'all are
teacher
gonna
is
have.
just like some chill old lady that plays like some music on the ukulele and says, "Let's not hurt animals." What are you talking about?
But she attacks other people. Didn't she have beef with like SS Sniper Wolf?
What's wrong with like criticizing others?
Look,
But she was doing it really
Oh,
bitchily.
sorry. Should we just never criticize anyone in today's society? What if someone like slaps a dog? Should we not criticize them? Get fucking real.
I don't like
Who
dogs,
are
so I wouldn't criticize them.
Oh my
Sorry. You're
god.
getting emotional
No,
just
you're
because
just
you're
being edgy
criticizing
right
her.
now,
So you're
lady.
projecting a little bit, aren't you?
But listen,
Yeah,
here's the
so
thing.
if you
Is
wouldn't,
that not projecting a little bit?
Here's the thing. If
If
vegan
you
teacher
wouldn't-
is like really, guys, come on. If vegan teacher, that vegan teacher is like really, really shitty. Here's what we do as vegan activists. We go into outreach and people are like, oh, vegan teacher, she sucks. And I'm like, okay, be a better vegan than her. That's it. Veganism has nothing to do with the personalities in the community, no matter how much you like dislike them as a personality, right? Just
Why
because
are
that
you-
vegan
I know,
teacher
yeah.
like pisses you off, that doesn't mean that veganism is incorrect as a moral stance. Veganism is correct as a moral stance, and I think you agree with me.
I know, but
yeah.
two things can be correct at the same time. I'm just trying to say that if y'all want to have a better shot, you need better representation.
Nah, she's a
That's
good
what I meant.
representation.
Empirical data
Even
for
if
that?
she's like in the
you have
villain.
empirical data to suggest that on average, if vegan teacher is speaking to people, that's like having reductive outcomes for the vegan movement as opposed to productive.
That's true.
If not, then are you just talking out of your ass?
I'm talking out of my pussy.
Ah.
I feel like postmortem or
That's
like
the
what is
talent.
that logical guy, logical and
Logical
there's
consistency, yeah.
postmortem. If these two people, yeah, if these two people were the what were they? The chairmen, the chair people of veganism, y'all would have a much better shot. Y'all need to get rid of vegan teacher. And
Nah,
anybody
I
else
get
that's
upset
being just,
sometimes too.
No.
like,
The
argumentative.
vegan teacher, if you actually look at data analytics, has driven a lot more traffic to the topic of veganism than anyone else, especially because she's so controversial among
All TV is
crybabies
good
that
TV?
complain that she told you that you're a bad person on TikTok if you torture animals. So actually, vegan teacher is an asset, and I'm glad that
Well, I
such
feel like-
individuals that without even trying become so provocative to people who cry like you.
Lady, can I tell
Congratulations.
you something lady, real quick? The reason why Just Stop Oil is literally everywhere on the news, because they are doing things to be on the news, and it works. Same
And it
thing
starts
with the vegan
conversations.
teacher. He wants to... Sorry?
It's
And
like
it starts
bad
conversations.
publicity, right? Doesn't matter.
It does start conversations, yeah, and that's the same thing with the vegan teacher. The reason why she's using Nazis in her title, because she wants that attention, and people are giving it to her, and she's getting.
Well, I feel like it is starting conversation, but it's starting conversations on the lines of LMAO, vegan bad. We knew it all along. Look at that vegan. You know, it's
No, people just don't like that vegan teacher criticizes people. Every anti-vegan does the same thing. Every time a vegan criticizes them, they say, "Oh, if you just didn't criticize me, I would take your movement more seriously." No. It's not that. It's that they don't want to be criticized for not being vegan. They want vegans who are cucks. That's what you're
the
saying.
same way I wouldn't
the
be want-
vegan
I
teacher
wouldn't
is
want,
not a cuck.
Jehovah's
the
Witness to
vegan
come up at
teacher
my
is here
house
to
and
tell you that
criticize
you're a
me.
piece of garbage because you probably are based on what you're saying right now.
Well, imagine a Jehovah's Witness coming up to you and saying, "Would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?" Just kidding, you're a bitch for not believing in Jesus. It's the same idea.
I would
If you're
say
trying to preach, if you're
if I
trying to
actually
preach some
believed
sort
that
of
what they were
ideal,
saying was
some sort of
correct, they
belief,
have every right to call me a bitch. That's disanalogous because unlike
they
that,
don't.
vegans posit true things. I have an issue with the Jehovah's Witness because
True
I
things
believe
to
that they have a
you.
false belief. It's
True
not
things
based
to
in something
you.
that can be demonstrated
True things
empirically.
to you.
Whereas a vegan
That's what I'm
diet,
trying to say. If
if
you're
we
trying
make
to
some
preach,
claim
you
about
need
the
to do
health
it
out, sorry, why are
nicely.
you interrupting? I'm more important than you. Sorry, I'm speaking. So, anyways,
Guys.
if you posit some claim about a vegan diet in relation to, its health outcomes or something like this, that can be empirically demonstrated. The existence of God or any other thing that's posited by Jehovah's Witness, that cannot be empirically demonstrated. So I would not have an issue with the fact that they're sharing it. I have an issue with the fact that they think they're right when they're actually wrong.
Yeah, you just will get
They're wrong
right?
to you. They're wrong to you.
No,
So
they're
that's the idea.
generally wrong.
This
they're
is what
wrong,
I'm
period.
saying. You
If
give
I say
vegans
that
a
water
name.
is made up of 6 helium atoms, is that wrong to you or wrong to me, or is that just wrong,
Should I
period?
be a vegan because of your subjective experience?
I need
You
to,
don't
I
have a
need to clear
metaphysical
the
grounding.
water. I need to clear the waters real quick. Give me a second. Okay, lady, just a simple question, just to make us all understand. If someone who was a feminist was really rude at you, would you just stop supporting like women?
No, because I am feminist already.
Yeah, but that's not my question. If someone was rude at you and like, let's say you didn't know what feminism was, right?
If I weren't feminist, yeah, because it would give me a bad perspective about feminism.
And
What
you
you
would
do as a
dislike
person,
you would dislike women more, right?
I mean, if I didn't know about feminism, yeah, because you're made up of labels, and your actions as a person affects how those labels are perceived by other people.
And do you understand?
Hello?
Do you understand the quote, "Don't shoot the messenger"?
Huh?
Do you know the quote, something to do with like don't shoot the messenger? If someone's telling you about a certain message, you shouldn't criticize the message based on the individual. You can just criticize the individual, not the
In
message.
an ideal world, that's how it works. I'm not talking about what is correct or what is wrong here. The reality is that is how people think, right? If you are Muslim, if you're Muslim or you're from Saudi Arabia, you go into a building with a bomb in your backpack and you explode, people are going to start having bad ideas about Saudi Arabians. That's how it works. I'm not saying that that's correct. That's how it is, unfortunately. So if you as a vegan want to spread your message, you have to abide by or at least take into consideration these realities. If you want to make a good point and a good case, you need to, kind of take these things into consideration.
So,
Yeah, so now you're making an empirical claim, lady, about whether or not certain individuals are beneficial to us. A, I don't even know why you'd care what's beneficial to us. You're not even an ally to the vegan movement. You don't care how many people are vegan. You're not even doing it yourself. Number one. Number two, you don't have any empirical data to support that claim that you just made. And in fact, what we actually see upon the analysis is that the vegan teacher has driven far more traffic to the topic than anyone else.
Can I finish? Sorry, can I finish this conversation real quick?
Mean positive income.
Yeah. Hold on, everybody, hold on. So listen, you said that generally you think I'm a good activist, but the thing is, good activists don't have big platforms, and people like Vegan Teacher do have big platforms. Now, can we get off this conversation and start talking about actual veganism? That's what good activists do.
Objective philosophy is pretty good.
This person is the one perpetuating this conversation because they're interested in looking for something to critique vegans about,
Yeah,
even though
let's end it
they
then.
don't actually care what is effective for vegans. They're trying to say something about the community.
How do you know about my intentions? You're just making assumptions.
Hold on. Let's
No,
do it.
I can make a determination.
Wait. Stop. Okay, lady.
That you seem to have an
Stop,
interest
stop,
in. It's called
stop.
Hold on.
Terminus, stop.
I'll make it super simple. Lady, what kind of activism me or Post or anyone else on this Discord could do to you to make you vegan today?
Make me vegan today.
Yes. What kind of activism would you like from someone to make you vegan today?
Okay, maybe instead of saying you're Nazi, fuck you, maybe trying to use the interrogative, so like asking questions instead of saying no, bad, this is true.
Okay, lady.
Maybe
if
trying
I
to
start
spark ideas in people's minds, that would be a lot better than
lady,
saying
ignore
no,
the
bad.
Lady, ignore the people. If I ask you questions about veganism today, would you go vegan today?
I mean, I've definitely been driven closer to, let's say, vegetarianism after this conversation than I was before.
And how can we make you vegan today?
How can you make me vegan today? Well, you can, because my parents would kick me out. But hypothetically, if my parents were not to kick me out, let me think. Wait a minute.
Wait, lady, they would kick you for eating more vegetables?
No, they would kick me out for basically not eating meat, number one, and number two, they pay for my food, So they would be like, vegan food expensive. I'm gonna fuck you. You get the idea.
No, they'd save money. And you can just show them what to buy if they're too brain dead to purchase food that's normally priced. Like, if you want me to like show you what a grocery shopping list of a vegan looks like that's normal, where you just go to Costco and you get things that are cheap, like hummus, vegetables, beans, rice, pasta, foods that have been historically very cheap, then I could do that
I'm
for
gonna
you.
tell that to my parents, my guy.
They will not listen to him. That's all.
Wait. A simple question. So, are you telling me that you're under the age of 18, right?
I'm 18 currently, but my parents finance me because I do not work.
Okay. And you can't really go shopping with them and say, hey, Mom, I want more rice?
I mean, they would be pretty quickly sussed out because I would reject eating meat or other animal products, and they would be like, what the fuck are you doing? And when I say,
all you can say is,
I'm vegan.
Different, Dad. I'm trying something different, Mom. You don't have to use the scary V word.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I'm
be
not good at
dishonest.
lying.
Like, if your parents are really scared of this one word, just don't use it. Just the scary V word.
Just tell
I
them
just
that you
want to
are on
get
a new
fit or
diet, this
just,
new
want
diet
to
that
be
excludes
healthy.
meat and animal products, right? You just tell them, this is a new diet I'm trying because I'm trying to lose weight, and generally speaking, you can lose weight on any diet, so it's
I
fine.
wouldn't be worried about staying vegan. I have Middle Eastern or boomer fucking parents. I told them I'm gonna go vegan one day, and they were just like, "Oh, okay." Then they were like getting on about their day, and that was that. It's not that hard.
I'm guessing the parents are like, it's a scary V word. Don't use the scary V.
In our house, when you express any idea or any moral standing that is different from what has already been established, you either get disowned or you're very close to getting disowned and your parents don't talk to you for like a year or like a year and a half. So the last time this happened was when I came out as atheist, and so my parents refused to go to the toilet because I would sit my ass on that toilet, and they refused to share a toilet with an atheist.
Holy shit.
And they used the bathroom upstairs.
Holy shit. Listen, it sounds,
That is
lady,
the
it
kind
sounds like you should move out no matter what. You should look for a way to move out these days.
I know.
Oh my
I'm gonna go
God.
to uni,
I
and
so hope this for
hopefully they
you.
don't chase after me.
Oh, man, I hope this for you, really, because it sounds absolutely horrific.
This is like one reason I'm not going vegan. And second, like I would love to be all preachy and say, oh, I could like get a vegan diet immediately if I wanted to. No, y'all are great people, and I love y'all vegans for it. I'm not as good as fuck me in the ass. I can't speak. I'm not as good of a person as you guys are. So if I said I'm going vegan today, the pepperoni pizza would be calling me, and I would be like, oh shit, right? I'm just a very tempted shit person.
Can I ask you, lady, have you watched like maybe like a movie like Dominion or something? Out of not personal experience, but collective vegan experience, like watching animals being tortured, really kind of puts you off animal products. So maybe that's what you should do. Maybe you should move out first for your own well-being, and then watch a movie like Dominion. Do you know the movie Dominion? I can give you a link if you want.
I've heard of it in name, in title. I have never seen its contents.
So I'm gonna look for it and link it to you. It's free on YouTube, so you don't have to spend money on it. It's hard as fuck. I'm telling you now, it's one of the hardest things you'd watch, but I think it's like necessary, because sometimes you really have to like traumatize yourself to not do a bad thing, and you already agree that it's a bad thing, right? So
objectively, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about I forgot the exact name of the theory, but you know how there's like this question of if there are two babies burning inside a building, you can only save one. One of them is your own child, the other one is like unrelated to you.
Yeah.
Most people choose to save the child, like their own child, instead of the other baby.
Yeah.
So like empathy scales with your emotional distance to that thing. Like or person.
Yeah, sure. Empathy,
I feel like
yeah,
that's what's
empathy
happening
can
with
be
animals. So
yeah.
people give
No,
more
it's
emotional
not.
weight
No, it's not.
to
That's not what's
to
happening.
humans
No.
rather than
No,
animals.
that's not what's happening with animals. You're not choosing between an animal and something else that's going to suffer.
That's not
You're
what
just
she's
choosing
claiming,
whether
though.
or not you want to
Terminal.
like pleasure yourself with like a burger as opposed to another type of burger that tastes almost the
Of course,
same.
like the burning house is like hypothetical. What I'm trying to say is people don't feel as much empathy
Yeah.
to things that they're distanced from.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
She's not claiming like
The more exposure you have to something, the more
No, you
exposure
could
you have
no,
to
you
something,
could
the more
feel
empathy you're likely to
empathy.
feel for it.
No, you could feel empathy for the other child. It's just that one has greater importance. That's all that hypothetical entails. People value their own family more. That's fine. That's
That's what I'm
not
trying
really
to say.
interacting.
Lady.
Yeah, but that's not really related to people and animals. The reason people treat animals the way they do is because of a combination of them being selfish and also them being too much of a pussy to confront the truth. That's all.
I feel like it's less selfishness and it's more just like precedent.
We are animals, though. Yeah.
Because
so we
when
are-
you're born, you don't
have-
necessarily
we have-
choose to
we
be like,
have
I'm going to
animal
torture animals right
features.
now.
Yeah, we have animal features.
The issue is majority of the people. I do activism a lot, including people in real life, so street activism. And many people believe that what they do is an ethical choice until they're questioned about the status quo. Then they have bits and bits and bits that they talk about. Usually people try to be empathetic about what they do, but they don't realize that what they're doing may be immoral.
Guys, I'm gonna bow
That's
out.
exactly what I was
I'm
trying
kind
to
of tired. So thank you very much, everybody. Lady Litterby, really seriously, good luck, and I hope you become vegan real soon. Frankly, because I think you're with us. Yeah, see you. Bye. Guys, I couldn't do it anymore. It's too much. It's been holy fuck 3.5 hours, and I want to get some rest. Maybe some meditation. I don't think there are any conversations that were left open, so hopefully I can get some sleep today. Generally speaking, I'm still disappointed that not as many people go vegan on the spot anymore. But I think we're sowing some seeds, yeah. I think Lady Litterby gets it and they're gonna go vegan. I think Henry kind of gets it and they're gonna go vegan. I think Murdoch is brain dead, but that's okay. Anyways, thank you very much for coming. Hope this was entertaining in some kind of way. See you next time.